agents who use Fast Protect technology, only from SimpliSafe, to capture video evidence and verify a threat for fast police response. Now, install SimpliSafe your way. Do it yourself or have an expert set it up for you with new Pro Install. Get 20% off any new system with Fast Protect monitoring at simplisafe.com/radio. There's no safe like SimpliSafe.
Millions are switching to Newsmax. After Tucker Carlson's firing, The Eric Bolling Show is up over 200% in the ratings. Tonight, watch Newsmax's powerful lineup of Greta Van Susteren, Rob Schmidt, and Eric Bolling. At 8 p.m. Eastern, Eric Bolling reveals the truth about Joe Biden's mental health. Is he really fit to be president? Watch America's fastest-growing cable news channel and download the free Newsmax app on your smartphone to start watching. Make the switch to Newsmax.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation, weather.
Partly sunny skies with us going through our Friday afternoon. There might be an isolated thunder shower, but pretty tough to find. 91 should do it. Tonight, beautiful evening in the 80s. Clear skies, 65 for the low. Saturday, sunny, 95 degrees. So it's a hot day, but the humidity levels are okay. Very close to the record of 96. Sunday, pretty, partly sunny, comfortable humidity, and 92. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
Now's the time to get started on that next outdoor project at your house with Chesterfield Fence and Deck. Mark Cox here from my friends at Chesterfield Fence. You're going to love this company. They're locally owned and operated since 1968. And if you have their sign in your front yard, it's a sign you have the very best. Stop by their showroom in Chesterfield. Take a look at their beautiful wood and vinyl fences. If you need a deck, they have the beautiful cedar, of course, but that Vecadec vinyl decking, no maintenance. It's fantastic. They've got lots of great deals. 48 months interest-free financing on your next outdoor project. When you mention you heard Mark Cox talking about this, they have custom sunrooms, screen rooms, pergolas, patios, even retaining walls they can work on for you. And of course, Better Business Bureau accredited business with an A+ rating. Call them today at 636-532-4054 or go online at chesterfieldfence.com.
St. Louis physician Dr. Abicki created Neovitin 15 years ago to help support his own nutrition when he needed it most. Since then, Neovitin has helped thousands of people support their daily nutrition with sensible doses of vitamins, minerals, antioxidants, and Dr. Abicki's proprietary blend. If you're ready to join many St. Louisans in supporting their nutrition, give Neovitin a try. You can find Neovitin at your local Schnucks, Dierbergs, and online at neovitin.com.
Vitae Foundation, I am so proud to be a partner with Vitae Foundation. They lead the world in research of abortion decision-making, and they have taken this message of helping women find places that are going to support them in choosing life. And they have this pro-woman approach. And the pro-woman approach is what makes me feel so connected to what Vitae Foundation is doing. Because, of course, I'm pro-life. Many of you listening right now are pro-life as well. But there's something about the political side of the message that gets lost when it gets into the exam room. And there's a woman sitting in there, and she's incredibly scared, and she's alone, and she needs support. She needs to be backed. She needs to have the arms of the pro-life community wrapped around her saying, we're going to help you do this together. Vitae Foundation connects that woman with the resources that she needs, but they can't do it without you. If you have that same compassion, if you have that same goal of trying to reach the woman to help save the child and to help them both, partner with me and support Vitae Foundation. You can learn more online at prowomanaapproach.org.
There are over 10,000 reasons why steel is not sold at Lowe's or the Home Depot. Find tools for the job site or your own backyard at over 10,000 authorized local steel dealers. Find yours at steelusa.com. Lowe's and the Home Depot are trademarks of their respective companies.
The only person who can change your life is you, but you need to know how. Listen to my show, The Del Walmsley Radio Show, where the hype ends and the help begins.
Listen to the Del Walmsley Radio Show this Saturday afternoon from 1 to 2 p.m. on 97.1 FM Talk.
This hour of the Annie Frey Show is brought to you by Ruler Foods. Low prices, no coupons. Ruler Foods.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what they're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
Right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Come on, turn the radio on. It's Saturday and I won't be long.
Don't get me wrong, I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Frey Show.
That's great. Congratulations. Very big on school choice. Can you imagine we even have to talk about parental control and basically having parents get involved? We have school systems that don't even want to talk to the parents about their children. And you talk about changing gender and things where the child can make a choice and the child can be unbelievably young. The country has gone sick. It's gone sick. And I don't like the term woke because I hear woke. You know, it's like just a term that half the people can't even define it. They don't know what it is.
Yeah, the woke people. Those are the people who can't define it. Am I wrong? Welcome back to the Annie Frey Show. It's Friday. Yay. Happy to have you here with us. Everything he's saying there is right, though, talking about the absurdity of a lot of the things we're dealing with culturally as a country.
Yeah, it's crazy. Last night, they had a big rollout of What is a Woman on Twitter, and there was a whole hubbub surrounding that.
I am a little disappointed, and it's hard to be disappointed because this mama had a baseball game last night, and I will tell you this. First of all, I'll say it was a home game, and if you know anything about, I used the word absurdity once, but I'm going to use it again. The absurdity of like 13U, 8U select baseball. This is really serious stuff. And at our home games, I am in charge of walk-up music. And there are people who are
so fun,
have not been associated with youth baseball. I mean, it's a whole thing.
It is now, man.
It's an industry. And at home games, I am responsible for walk-up music, which means at home games, I have to be paying attention unequivocally.
Right.
Mostly because I have a button and a loudspeaker, and if I screw up, I could play music in the middle of the game and embarrass myself. So at an away game, I will scroll Twitter and kind of keep one eye on what's going on in the news. Why? Because I'm an anxiety-riddled mother who wants to make sure that my kid succeeds probably too much. I want it inside. I have reached the point in parenting with my son being 13 and having played sports, organized baseball at least since he was 6 in Little League. I am very good at containing myself now. I have learned that I need to stay silent. Maybe, every once in a while. No, I say silent. And I've learned because I read, this is all an active thing that I have to participate in. It's not a passive, like, oh, I'll just start behaving this way instead of that way. I have to only say like positive, encouraging things. So I say a lot of positive, encouraging things. So I'm trying to focus on the game last night, the baseball game. We were winning 9-3 in the final inning because we had reached the time limit. It was home, and we won 9-8.
Ooh.
We couldn't find the strike zone. It was our fault. The other team played well, and we almost lost it. So I'm really engaged in this baseball game, and I get done with the baseball game, and then I check my phone to see the notifications, and Brad is blowing my Twitter DMs up with all of this important stuff that I'm like, I have to go back and research all of this before the show tomorrow, because the whole Twitter thing with the Daily Wire and the What is a Woman, that drama continued to spiral. You want to just kind of update us?
Yeah. So what ended up happening is to kind of set this up. You read this yesterday on the show. Daily Wire had a deal with Twitter where they were going to premiere What is a Woman for 24 hours for free on the platform to celebrate the 1-year release of that documentary. Twitter came back, said, hey, let us review this. They reviewed it. They found 2 instances they said was misgendering, even though misgendering isn't listed under Twitter's terms and conditions anymore as,
And Twitter said, well, it's still wrong. We just didn't feel like it needed to be specified.
Right. And so then they said they weren't going to release it. And so it went on. So Jeremy Boring basically decided we're going to go ahead and put this out on Twitter for free. And I think Elon Musk responded, said, you can absolutely do that. We're going to advertise or restrict it.
He said, I saw one tweet where he said there were a lot of mistakes made on Twitter's part here.
Oh, absolutely. And so we talked about that a little bit yesterday. I was like, I can't see Elon Musk doing this. Like, I don't know how this didn't come across his desk, but as this is unfolding, it's seeming like it didn't.
I think his desk is
very full.
Yeah. He's also flying spaceships.
So before the launch, they did a Twitter Spaces with Jeremy, with Michael Knowles, with Matt Walsh, Candace Owens, Ben Shapiro, Jordan Peterson, like the whole crew, the whole Daily Wire crew was there, and they were talking about this release. And then they said, after this goes, he goes, I don't know what the restrictions are going to be, he said, but just go ahead and share it. Well, they released it. You couldn't find the video unless you went to the Daily Wire Twitter page itself. And then it was view restricted, which means you can't like, comment, share, or even DM it.
They basically say you're allowed to say whatever you want, but it has to be in a room
right
where there's nobody allowed in.
Right. So people found out that you can embed it. So they embedded the video, they were sharing it. I tried to retweet it when it gave me the warning. I screenshotted it. I tagged Real Daily Wire in it, and I retweeted that, saying that I think that you should go and watch this video because everybody needs to have this conversation. We need to hear all sides of this. Elon Musk, on the other hand, is responding to the tweets from Daily Wire, the Daily Wire personalities, saying this is a mistake. We're working on fixing this. It shouldn't be like this, blah, 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 blah. It even got to the point where Elon Musk himself retweeted the video.
I saw him. He said something to the effect of this is an important conversation or something like that for people to be having.
And the head of Twitter safety is now no longer the head of Twitter safety.
Really?
Like, it broke that this person has been removed from their Slack channel and stuff like that.
Everybody was, real hot and bothered about how could Elon Musk let this happen? It's a fair question.
Mm-hmm.
Jeremy Boring said in his 16 tweet thread yesterday that I read the whole thing on the air. He said, listen, Elon Musk can run his company however he chooses to run his company, but you can't run your company this way, but also be saying we're the free speech platform.
Right.
You just don't get to do both. So the pressure was put on Elon Musk. I know a lot of people are also tweeting like, seems like Elon Musk doesn't know what's going on at his company. I mean, there's a lot going on.
There's a lot
in the company. And how many times have you been, if somebody messages you between noon and 3, you're not going to get to it.
No.
And this is probably not nearly as important as what Elon Musk is doing on any given day. The fact that he could be out of pocket for an hour or two or whatever, and then how many things of that profile are coming to him that don't even have anything to do with Twitter. He has a lot of company.
Oh, yeah. And yeah, like you were saying, he's got a lot of company. There's the Boring Company, SpaceX, Tesla, Twitter. I mean, he's just got a lot of irons in the fire.
So what's the current status?
So last I saw, it's up and unrestricted.
Is the Daily Wire happy?
That I haven't seen. I think that they are
they satisfied?
Better.
Well, let's follow up on that. We're going to speak with Mike Davis in the next segment here in about 10 minutes. Mike Davis is the founder and president of the Article 3 Project, and he's drawing a little bit of a connection between the pending charges and indictments. People are suggesting that Donald Trump is going to go to jail. That right?
Mm-hmm.
That, I mean,
Yeah.
it's that significant. But we're pretty good at this. We've really strengthened that muscle because that's the muscle that's been
Yeah.
flexing since before the 2016 election. But it's an interesting reason why he thinks that these indictments against Donald Trump are going to really ramp up here. He believes it's a deflection regarding the seriousness of what is taking place in the Joe Biden world. Today's YouTube live chat poll, what should happen to President Joe Biden? That's the question. You've got 4 options. He should resign, 25th Amendment removal, impeachment, or nothing. Onward to your second term. So if you go to the Annie Frey YouTube channel, I can't wait to see what you think should happen to President Joe Biden. And if when I say should happen, I think that reflects what's likely, what you got to consider all the possibilities. Is he going to step down? Just let us know what you think and leave comments because Hannah will highlight those at 2:45. So at the beginning of this, we hear Donald Trump talking about what is woke. And he said half the people don't understand that. My opinion is anybody who's ever participated in any of this knows what woke is. I don't think there's anybody who doesn't anymore.
Yeah, I think that's a fair assessment. To say, like, I think people are looking for a nailed down, like, this is what woke is. And what it is basically the next iteration of social justice warriors. You know, if you're woke, you're a social justice warrior. If you're like, you don't know what social justice warrior is, these are people that fight for causes that they believe promote social justice. Social justice being things like ending racism, LGBTQ rights, you know, all of these things.
People know what it is.
Do liberals like to call themselves woke? Like, do they?
They did.
Yeah.
I mean, it was their word.
Yeah.
Get woke.
Yep. And then it was co-opted. And
Well, everyone was like, don't get woke.
Yeah.
Stop it. Just stop it. So when you hear Donald Trump, and this was on the Hannity, was it a town hall? So going back to my 9-8 victory for the 13U baseball team that we're involved in, I didn't get to watch any of this, but I knew it was happening. So we're going to play a few clips from it. He's talking and he's saying the same things that Ron DeSantis has been saying and doing in Florida. He's talking about the way there is this pursuit for children and gender identity and school choice and everything. He's all of these policies. If you take away all of the spice behind what he's saying here, he and Ron DeSantis agree. Wouldn't you? Would you say?
I would say so. Yeah.
They're on the same side of this issue and would advocate for the same things. There's no doubt in my mind that when Donald Trump poo-poos the word woke and says people don't even know what it means, that is a Ron DeSantis attack.
Yeah.
I don't think it's anything but a Ron DeSantis attack. He's trying to deflate the balloons that might help Ron DeSantis soar. And woke, Florida, where woke goes to die. I mean, how many times have we heard Ron DeSantis say woke? So it's an attack. That's fine. We talked yesterday and multiple times about Donald Trump's post on Truth Social a couple days ago where he attacked Kayleigh McEnany. And it doesn't make any sense to me why he did that unless he knows that Kayleigh McEnany is going to do something that completely abdicates her allegiance to Donald Trump and goes to the dark side, the dark DeSantis side, whatever. He said on his Truth Social post, and I'm reading this from his feed. So there's a lot of screenshots floating around out there, mostly because people share these things on Twitter, not on Truth Social.
Yeah.
But people do care what he has to say.
Yeah,
It's very, if he said this on Twitter, it would be a huge, huge thing. He just doesn't go to Twitter because he owns Truth Social. Kayleigh Milquetoast McEnany just gave out the wrong poll numbers on Fox News. I'm 34 points up on DeSanctimonious, not 25 up. While 25 is great, it's not 34. She knew the number was corrected upwards by the group that did the poll. The rhinos and globalists can have her. Fox News should only use real stars. Here's the spice in the apple pie today. I'm listening to Outnumbered this morning on my way here into work. And this is what happens on Outnumbered. Here's Jen Psaki.
If you look back, Joy, to 2020, they were trying to figure out how to take him out. They can't make him extreme. Yeah. They can't really make him offensive. I mean, one, he's a white man who's older. So, you know, he is comfortable to many in their base. The many in their base.
So Jen Psaki, I guess previous to that, was talking about polls that had lent to her understanding that, you know, Joe Biden's a pretty lovable guy. Polls say Jen Psaki is a pretty lovable guy. And the Outnumber's like, where are you getting your statistics that suggest that Republicans can't find anything offensive about Joe Biden? Where are you getting these numbers? Enter Kayleigh McEnany.
Apparently, because if your new idea is Republicans are comfortable with Joe Biden, the Reuters poll in mid-May shows 91% disapproval among Republicans. Get your polls right, Jen. Apparently you haven't looked. Do your homework before you go on set.
She just went there. That wasn't to Jen. No. That was not a comment to Jen Psaki. Kayleigh McEnany just responded to Donald Trump. That makes me laugh.
Wow.
I've listened, even when you hear the little spark in her tone, get your polls right, Jen.
I know that spark.
Yeah. That's really funny. Woo. I'm amused. And, to me, if you think Donald Trump thinks that Kayleigh McEnany's not going to fight back, maybe he does, maybe he doesn't. But in Donald Trump's words, The rhinos and globalists can have her. Fox News should only use real stars. I think she was kind of nice.
Yeah. Well, you know what's interesting too is like you said, can you imagine Kayleigh McEnany and Donald Trump on a debate stage? Because Kayleigh would pull out her binder. Do you know what Kayleigh had on her lap on that scene?
No, because I was listening in the car.
She had her papers and she's like, flips through, gets the Reuters pull out, and she's boom.
So there was spectacle, not just an audio.
I mean, it wasn't huge. It was subtle, but it was just like.
But it was direct. I love it. Welcome to the 2024 election campaign season where former staffers fight with the people they work for in an election they're not even participating in.
This is crazy.
It's wild. Buckle up. Mike Davis is going to be with us when we come back. He's the founder and president of the Article 3 Project. And he has highlighted a very important issue, a document of concern that senators have seen and are trying to get their hands on that show that Joe Biden might be involved in something incredibly nefarious, but you got to be able to prove it. They need the FBI to participate. Are they going to? Well, the closer that the people in Congress get to this document and making their case, the more he expects the fire flames around Donald Trump to rise. He's going to tell us what that's all about when we come back. So Mike Davis on the Annie Frey Show. Need your vote in the YouTube live chat poll. We'll be back in just a minute.
You're listening to the Annie Frey Show on St. Louis's home for conservative talk.
aircomfortservice.com. If you are looking to save in June on a new HVAC system, you got to go to Air Comfort Service. They are ready for you. If you are looking to replace an air conditioner, if you're not 100% sure you need to, you're like, man, I hope it just needs a tune-up. I hope it just needs a tweak or a switch flipped. I've been there. I understand that. Air Comfort Service came to my home and they gave us a solution that we could use to repair it, but we didn't think that the investment was worth the longevity of the fix. So let me tell you about what you can get at Air Comfort Service in June. You can save up to $1,550 in Carrier Cool Cash rebates on qualifying systems through the month of June, but you need to reach out to Air Comfort Service soon to make sure you can secure this deal. Call them, say Annie Frey was mentioning something about some Carrier Cool Cash rebates. I want to save as much as I can. 314-513-0091. That's 314-513-0091. Air Comfort Service has earned the business of the Frey family multiple times over. That's where we've spent our money, and I encourage you to do the same. Online at aircomfortservice.com.
Hello, I'm Howard Mackler, founder of Innovation Refunds. You've heard me talking about the payroll tax refund for months. I'm so proud that we've helped over 15,000 businesses claim over $5 billion in cash incentives. If you own a business, even if you've asked your CPA about this, you owe it to yourself to take another look. Every client is assigned a licensed and insured tax attorney who evaluates your company at my expense to accurately determine eligibility. Innovation Refunds has hundreds of 5-star reviews on Trustpilot and Google, and your business might be entitled to receive up to $26,000 per employee. Businesses of all types can qualify, including medical, professional, construction, even nonprofits. Please don't miss out on this. Even your doctor would tell you to get an expert second opinion, and we do a lot of work for doctors. Download the Innovation Refunds app now or go to getrefunds.com to potentially get a payroll tax refund of $26,000 per employee. GetRefunds.com. GetRefunds.com.
This is Tom Ackerman. Thank you, St. Louis, for giving more. When you round up for Ronald McDonald House Charities at McDonald's, you provide services to seriously ill children and their families when they need it most. Round Up, a giving program available at St. Louis area McDonald's restaurants where customers can round up to the nearest dollar and donate their additional change to help keep families close. Is anyone surprised that St. Louis has raised over $2.2 million through Roundup for Ronald McDonald House Charities just last year and leads the nation? St. Louis leads the nation with over $5 million raised since 2019 when this program began. The generosity from the St. Louis community. Roundup at McDonald's has allowed Ronald McDonald House to renovate 3 family rooms in local children's hospitals since 2021. More than 27,000 visitors use these rooms each year. Visit them online, rmhc.com. STL.com.
You're listening to the Annie Frey Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation Studio. Don't suffer from spring allergies when Air Comfort Service has solutions to remove up to 99% of allergens. Improve your indoor air quality and get in your comfort zone. Visit aircomfortservice.com.
97.1 FM Talk. You're here because you clearly have a refined palate. St. Louis's home for conservative talk. This is 97.1 FM Talk. You're listening to the Annie Frey Show. Follow Annie on Twitter at Annie Frey Show.
Welcome back to the Annie Frey Show. We're grateful that you're here with us today. The YouTube live chat poll on the Annie Frey YouTube channel. What should happen to President Joe Biden? He should resign, 25th Amendment removal, impeachment, or nothing. He should pursue that second term that he seems to currently want right now. I've said many times that I think that I don't think he's going to be the nominee for the second term. We shall wait and see. Yesterday, we see that he falls at a commencement speech he's giving, I think at the Air Force. And it doesn't seem like he's up for the job. But there are other things surrounding Joe Biden that are very problematic. You might not have heard a lot of the details about it because it seems as though there's a pretty vested interest in not talking about it in the mainstream media. There is somebody who's talking about it and who understands this stuff very well. And that's our friend Mike Davis. He's the founder and president of the Article 3 Project. You can learn about them at article3project.org. Mike Davis, welcome back to the Annie Frey Show. Always a pleasure to have you.
Thank you for having me.
Of course. So we have certainly seen lots of conversation around indictments that are coming Donald Trump's way, and he's going to be in an orange jumpsuit, blah, blah, blah. How come those conversations are being magnified while we see senators looking to get their hands on a document that might show that Joe Biden himself should be in a lot of trouble right now?
Well, it's very clear that Garland special counsel Jack Smith is leaking right now from the Mar-a-Lago probe because Joe Biden and Hunter Biden have been caught red-handed with this document that the FBI has been hiding, alleging that then Vice President Joe Biden took $5 million from China, an illegal foreign bribe, and changed American policy. And the FBI has been hiding this for years, and my former boss, Senator Chuck Grassley, along with House Oversight Chairman James Comer, finally cornered the rats at the FBI, threatened FBI Director Chris Wray with contempt of Congress, and he finally relented after a long standoff, and he's going to turn over this document on Monday.
Have the senators seen the document at this point, or do they just know that it exists?
Senator Grassley has publicly stated that he has seen this document. So they know what's in it. They know it's serious. They know it's a very credible whistleblower who has come forward and said that this document exists and that the FBI has buried this for years. And frankly, this is part of a pattern by the FBI. If you remember back in 2016, the Secretary of State Hillary Clinton had her illegal home server that was hacked by our worst enemies while she was Secretary of State. And this server evidences that the Clinton Foundation was engaged in illegal foreign bribery schemes, pay for play with foreign governments. And so what did the FBI do in response to this? The FBI colluded with Hillary Clinton's campaign, President Obama, Vice President Biden, the Obama Attorney General, the Obama FBI Director, James Comey, the Obama CIA Director, and they concocted the Russian collusion hoax, the Crossfire Hurricane investigation to go after Trump for this nonsense that he essentially was a Russian agent. And that hobbled President Trump for 3 years of his presidency. And the Durham report came out and showed that this was all political deflection, political nonsense, political garbage to protect Hillary Clinton. You're going to see the same thing with Jack Smith with the Mar-a-Lago investigation. Biden got caught with 5 stashes of classified documents that he stole from the Obama White House and stole when he was a senator. And there's evidence from Miranda Devine's reporting of the New York Post in a 22-point memo that Biden used this classified information to secure Ukrainian funding. So what did Biden do? He had Garland do the unprecedented, unnecessary, unlawful home raid on Trump to get back the Crossfire hurricane records that were so damning for Biden. And these are records that President Trump was allowed to have under the Presidential Records Act, right? And so you're going to see that Garland. You're already seeing this. Garland's leaking out that there's a tape recording of President Trump talking about having a classified document dealing with Iran. Well, guess what? He's allowed to have that under the Presidential Records Act. He's allowed to keep personal copies of his presidential records when he leaves office. That's why Congress funds the office of the former president with secure office space called SCIFs, with federally funded staff, with security clearances, with Secret Service protection. These documents never leaked from Trump when he left office for 18 months. They only started leaking when the Biden Justice Department did this illegal home raid and got these documents.
Mike Davis is with us right now. He's a founder and president of the Article 3 Project, online at article3project.org, on Twitter at Article 3 Project. You mentioned the Presidential Records Act, and since we're talking about Donald Trump and these records, you have been on this show consistently saying he was the president, he had the right to have them, he could declassify him by the sound of his voice. When we saw Donald Trump on that CNN town hall, they went back and forth a bunch of times about the Presidential Records Act, and the moderator, she kept saying, that's not what that is. That's not what it is. That's not what it is. How do you respond to detractors who say he couldn't have these documents? He couldn't be sharing these documents. Is it just simply not true? Are they just wrong?
Well, I don't watch CNN, but I know that it's not true. And let me tell you why. Under the Presidential Records Act, any documents created or received by the president or his White House staff are presidential records. And it doesn't matter whether they're classified or not. Many presidential records are obviously classified just by the nature of the job. So if the CIA, for example, sends a classified document to the White House, that is a presidential record. Even if it's classified, it is a presidential record. And when presidents leave office, they are allowed to take or keep copies of their presidential records. Remember, President Trump used Mar-a-Lago as one of his offices when he was the president of the United States. So it's a very secure place. And so, again, that's why Congress gives staff secure space, security clearances, Secret Service protections, because under the Presidential Records Act, presidents are allowed to take and keep their presidential records. It's their sole determination whether they can take these records. And that is confirmed by the Clinton sock drawer case. What happened there was when President Clinton left office, he took 79 audio tapes, 8 years of highly classified recordings of his presidency, including President Clinton's discussions with foreign leaders, obviously the most classified material you can imagine. And he kept these 79 audio recordings, 8 years of highly classified recordings in his sock drawer. And Tom Fitton and Judicial Watch sued to get these. And the Obama-appointed judge correctly held that under the Presidential Records Act, it is the president's sole determination on what records he gets to keep. It doesn't matter whether they're classified, and the mere act of a president taking his records when he leaves office indicates that those are personal declassified records. Period. End of story.
So we're speaking with Mike Davis right now. It's not just a question of classification. I guess the other question is, whose possession can they be in? Who owns them? Are these documents still the property of the government? Or, as you're saying here, can they also be, because I've heard you say multiple times, copies of these presidential records? Can a president can retain them as their own property in addition to them being property of the government?
No, they are personal records. They are personal records of the president when he takes them. If the president of the United States takes records when he leaves office, they are his personal copy under the Presidential Records Act. Remember, before the Presidential Records Act was passed like 45 years ago or whatever it was, presidential records were personal property of the president always, right? So when they left office, they were his records. Congress changed that where these records, these become presidential records that are owned by the government. They go to the National Archives, they get classified or categorized or whatever, and they almost certainly get sent back to the former president to put in his library. But it is the president's sole determination. It's up to him and him alone whether these are personal records that belong to him or presidential records that belong to the government and then get sent back to his library. That is his determination.
Mike Davis, founder and president of the Article 3 Project, article3project.org. Before we let you go, that is a summation of what the current situation is in the Mar-a-Lago classified documents case, as many people understand it. But shifting back to what we're really on the brink of here, if these senators do get this document from the Justice Department or the FBI, what's going to happen next? Because the implication of what you're suggesting, and I wrote this down here, that the president, Joe Biden, when he was vice president, as I understand it, he received $5 million from China and it influenced and changed policy. I mean, that's as collusion as it gets.
Well, that's foreign bribery. That's as treasonous as it gets. It's pretty bad. And I'll tell you what, I don't know how President Biden cannot be chased out of office. I don't know how he's not impeached and removed or forced to resign. If this allegation, if this evidence from this whistleblower in this document turns out to be true, I don't know how Joe Biden can stay in office, because he has proven that he can take high office, the highest offices in America, as vice president or president, and he will sell them out to our worst enemies, China, to make a lot of money for himself and his family, $5 million, right? And this is just one of the bribery schemes. How many others are there? Yeah. So this is as bad as it gets. And that's why the FBI, who has, interfered in the 2016 election by covering for Hillary's illegal home server and her pay-for-play bribery scheme and going after Trump with Russian collusion and Crossfire Hurricane, this is the same FBI that covered for Biden when they knew for years that Biden was taking foreign bribes. They have the SARS reports, suspicious activity reports at the Treasury Department that they're hiding as well, confirming all this. So they interfered in the 2020 election by burying Biden's corruption, and they're interfering again. The FBI is interfering again in the 2024 election because they know that Biden is caught here. They know he got caught with illegal classified records that he actually used, stolen classified records that he actually used to secure funding from these corrupt foreign deals, like Miranda Devine's reporting on Ukraine with a 22-point memo that Biden created from classified material. They also know that, Biden has this corruption hanging over their head. So what do? They send the FBI to go after Trump in Mar-a-Lago for presidential records he's allowed to have under the Presidential Records Act. The real reason for that Trump raid was to get back those Crossfire Hurricane records that Trump declassified via presidential memo the day before he left office, but President Biden dragged his feet and never made public.
Well, I mean, time will tell for sure. And it looks like this document may be in the possession of these senators soon. Before I let you go, Democrats have heard from Adam Schiff over and over and over again that the evidence is there and just wait until you see what I've seen. And of course, we know how that story fizzled out and ended with absolutely no substance. Republicans, hearing what you're saying about President Biden, do you expect a significant payoff in what you're alleging is out there and what we have seen the senators allege is out there? Do we get to see this document or know more about this soon?
I'll tell you this. I worked for Chuck Grassley twice, once right out of college and once like 18 years later when I was his chief counsel for nominations on the Senate Judiciary Committee. He is the king of oversight. He's been the king of oversight for like 50 years. I'm telling you, he does not oversell. And if he says that there is something there, there is something there.
Well, we are going to be watching. And Mike Davis, your insight, we always love having it here on the Annie Frey Show. Thanks for being with us today.
Thank you.
You're welcome. We'll have you again. Mike Davis, founder and president of the Article 3 Project, founder and president of the Internet Accountability Project, and as he mentioned there, chief counsel for nominations on the U.S. Senate Committee on the Judiciary, working with Chuck Grassley himself. Very great to have him on here, and I look forward to the facts and the evidence, and I'm not holding my breath until it is out there, but I do have my eyes on it, and I hope you do as well. I think both of these leading candidates for the Democrat Party, for the Republican Party, have a lot of legal troubles ahead of them, and America, from a political angle, is going to have to decide, who do you want to represent you here in the presidential office? That's a big decision, but we still have and should have that mentality that the Democrats love so much, that no one is above the law. Does that include Joe Biden? I guess we'll have to wait and find out. On a quick break here, don't go away. The YouTube live chat poll: what should happen to President Joe Biden? He should resign, 25th Amendment removal, impeachment, or nothing. He should go after that second term. You go to the Annie Frey YouTube channel and join us there and watch us there. We're going to have a fun guest on next in for Wiggins America. Matt Pauley from KMOX's Sports Open Line is going to give us an update on the Cardinals season. And from what I understand, NASCAR is in town. Stick around. Come join us on the YouTube live chat. Stream us on the Odyssey app. We'll be right back.
The Annie Frey Show is streaming online. Watch us live on YouTube and subscribe.
PreventSprainSocks.com. These socks go on my feet when I'm choosing to be active, if I'm going to walk or run for long distance, but especially when I'm playing sports like basketball or volleyball. I know a lot of pickleball players out there that are, you moving back and forth. You want the support on your ankles because you don't want to roll it. You don't want to be out of the game. You also need to go about life. That's the weird thing about being grown up. You're an adult. You want to stay active. When you're a kid and you bust your ankle, you just sit on the couch and eat snacks until you can get back up on your ankle. Mom and dad wait on you. When you're grown, nobody waits on you. In fact, you still have to wait on the kids. So you got to stay in the game. You've got to be in shape and healthy. And if you're working on getting there, Prevent Sprain Socks will help you through this process. The reports on these socks indicate that there's a 50% less recovery time. Plus, they increase blood flow, which in turn lessens muscle and ankle fatigue. I use them because I busted my ankle when I was in high school, and it keeps me active in the game, playing with my kids, and keeps my feet and my ankles in great shape. If you're looking for socks for your activities, for golf, they have special socks for golfers as well. Get online and order a pair today. You will be happy that you did. PreventSprainsocks.com.
You aren't just one you. There are many sides to you. There's the one that lives for drama.
When you play the Game of Thrones, you win or you die.
The one with the wild side.
I'm on my way to Flavortown.
And the one who's a kid at heart.
You will respect my authority.
There are many sides to you, and they all deserve the best. Introducing Max, the one to watch.
Start streaming iconic series, movies, originals, and family favorites. Subscription required. Visit Max.com.
Do you have 3 ex-wives and your current trophy wife wants a life insurance policy 3 times the size of the policies you had to purchase for your previous mistakes? If so, you need to call Big Lou at Term Provider, 800-700-6898. Big Lou is intimately familiar with your problems, and if you're 50 or 60 years old and in reasonably good health, a $1 million policy should only cost about $100 to $200 per month. Big Lou may have a solution for your previous policies as well. You may even save enough money to lighten the load on your new $1 million policy. Remember, call Big Lou. He's like you, except he's only on number 2. Call Term Provider at 800-700-6898. That's 800-700-6898. For $1 million in term life insurance that you can live with. Call Big Lou at 800-700-6898. 800-700-6898.
If you're hiring, it can feel like you're trying to find a needle in a haystack. You can hope the right person comes along, or you can just use ZipRecruiter. And now you can try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. In fact, ZipRecruiter has helped a lot of business owners find their needle in a haystack, like Marco, president of operations at Telly Tires and Auto Centers. Because Telly Tires has grown a lot in the last few years, Marco needed to hire everyone from a receptionist to a store manager to a head mechanic.
ZipRecruiter helps me find all the right people, even the most difficult jobs to fill. ZipRecruiter helps me keep my business running.
Take it from Marco and millions of other businesses who've used ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter can help you find the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. That's ZipRecruiter.com/RADIO. ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire.
If you need to sell your home to buy a new home, it's never been more important to have an experienced negotiator you can trust. You need my friends Mark and Neil Gelman of eXp Realty on your side, fighting for every dollar for you. Check out thegelmanteam.com. That's thegelmanteam.com.
At 125, I'm going to present an Ask Me Anything segment here on the Annie Frey Show, where you, our listeners, ask us questions. So if you have anything you want to ask Annie, Brad, or myself, or all of us, log into the Annie Frey Show live stream, leave a comment with hashtag AMA, and we will answer those at 125. The current time is 12:47, and this update is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
This is where real local and national accountability happens. This is 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis's home for conservative talk. You're listening to The Annie Frey Show. Interact with Annie on Facebook. The Annie Frey Show.
Welcome back to the Annie Frey Show. As I said, I have been saturated in 13U select Southern Illinois baseball and trying to watch some Cardinals games along the way. We had the great distinct pleasure of being in Cleveland last Friday night. My husband and I went there to watch the Cardinals play, and any game where you get to watch all the way to the very end and the very last pitch, for that last pitch to be consequential in the game, is a good baseball game. Unfortunately, the Cardinals did not win. So the Cardinals have had an up and down season, and we're bringing our friend Matt Pauley on with us. He's the host of KMOX's Sports Open Line, and he is the guy in the know about the St. Louis Cardinals and St. Louis sports. Matt, thanks for being on with us today. It's great to have you here.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Of course. So tell me right now where the Cardinals are in their season. Are we looking up from the start, that really, really super slow start?
Yeah, I think so. You know, they were at 10-24 in a really bad spot. They then went on to win 12 of 16. They were playing 19 games in 19 days. That was tough. You mentioned the Cleveland series. You don't want to lose 2 out of 3 to Cleveland. You don't want to get shut out by the Royals. They split a 2-game series with the Royals. The one game they lost was pretty ugly. This was a really, really much needed 2 days off for the team. I think the team that they were when they were winning 12 of 16 is much closer to who they are than the team that was losing 2 out of 3 to Cleveland and the team that lost 10 of 24, was started at 10-24. But they put themselves in a hole, and they've got some work to do to move back up in the division.
You know, Matt, when I'm watching this team, or especially when I'm talking to people about this St. Louis Cardinals team, everybody's still a fan, but there's this general sense of, it's kind of, I don't know if it's negativity, but it's a little more worry about the team. And usually come June 2nd, if the season's not going as good as it's going, as you think it's going to be, there's kind of this vibe of, it'll come around. We'll get to it. We'll get our guy back that's hurt or whatever it might be. Maybe something at the trade deadline. Seems like there's kind of a deflated balloon surrounding this season so far. I'm wondering if that's been your experience talking to fans as well.
Yeah, it has. And I think there's 2 things going on, or 2 ways to evaluate the team. You evaluate the team on their opportunity to get into the playoffs. In that area, they're fine. They're 4.5 games back of first place, but that's largely because they're in a horrible division. There's not another team in the division that's any good. You want to see them have the opportunity to get into the playoffs. You want to see them maybe be in a position to add at the deadline and make themselves better. So that's the good side of it. The bad side of it is they are an incredibly flawed baseball team. They've lost more games than they should have. You compare them against the upper echelon of just baseball, and they don't stand up. You know, the Milwaukee Brewers and the Boston Red Sox essentially have the exact same record. The Brewers are the first place team in the NL Central. The Red Sox are the last place team in the AL East. So that just tells you how bad this division is.
So, I mean, something has to happen. And if you are looking for a fix at the trade deadline, if you are looking for a signing or something like that, maybe that could fix it, but it seems as though there needs to be a jolt of energy and excitement to this team that doesn't exist right now. Where would you point Cardinals fans' attention right now to look for something to fill that gap?
Yeah, that's a great question. I don't know if I have an answer. Jordan Walker is getting recalled today. He's going to be back with the team today, so maybe that's something. I do think the way Miles Michaelis has pitched recently has kind of lifted everything up. He's been really good, and that's good to see. They've needed a starting pitcher that gives length and performance, and we've seen that from Michaelis in his last 2 starts. And tonight's a big start for Jack Flaherty. There's so much. Jack Flaherty's ceiling is still as good as any ceiling in the starting rotation. He just hasn't been consistent with it. And if you want to see this team make a run in the playoffs this year, Flaherty's probably got to be right in the middle of it. So I don't know where the jolt of energy comes from. Do they need to add in a big way at the deadline? I think they do. I'd like to see them add a starting pitcher. I'm really uncomfortable with those final 3 outs. You got to see it for yourself, Annie, when you were in Cleveland.
Yep.
Those final 3 outs, something about them are tough, and they just don't have that guy on the roster who's been around forever and can handle those final 3 outs. So there's some spots on this roster that could use some improvement.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. There's a lot of concern about the manager. There's concern about the starting rotation. There's concern about whether or not we can hit in clutch situations. And to me, the other thing about baseball, and I see this even, watching my kid play, sometimes baseball is just a really, really funny game, and not in the way that makes you laugh. Sometimes things just go your way. Sometimes everything goes against you. But we did have a good winning streak there for a bit, but the hole was so deep that it was really hard to enjoy it. It was like, we got to do this twice in order to get to a place where we feel like we're doing what we should. There's not a lot of confidence right now in ownership saying that they are willing to spend the money, and that the attitude is pretty much that of, if we can make the playoffs in St. Louis these days, it's just good enough to just get in. What about that mentality of, we want a World Series this year?
Yeah, I don't think the idea of just getting into the playoffs being good enough is valid. Now, there's an accomplishment in getting to the playoffs. There's an accomplishment in winning the division. That's all really, really good. But this is a team that gets to the playoffs a lot, and they don't have a ton of playoff success in recent years. So this is a year, especially with it being Adam Wainwright's final season. And we said the same thing last year about Pujols and Molina, and didn't work out when they got knocked out in the first round. This team has not won a playoff series in a really long time. In the offseason, when they went and spent the money on Wilson Contreras, what that did was it kept the prospects that they would have used in a potential Sean Murphy trade inside the organization. So use those kind of guys, go acquire at the deadline. I think that's really important. I like Oliver Marmol, and I remind people of this. When the team was 10-24, people really wanted to see Marmol fired. The team then won 12 of their next 16 games. If they would have fired Marmol in that moment, they probably still would have won 12 of their next 16. And people who wanted Marmol fired were going to be doing a victory lap saying, well, see, this is the reason why. It wasn't the reason why. Talent is going to win out. So the manager's not the problem. I don't agree with every single thing that Oliver Marmol does. And there's moments where it's a little bit frustrating, but people key in on him, and he's not the problem.
We're speaking with Matt Pauley. He's the host of KMOX Sports Open Line. From what I understand, because I drive past it all the time, I think, right?
Yes, you do.
NASCAR is in town?
NASCAR is in town.
Now, I'm going to toss this ball over to Brad, because, Brad, you were at the Indy 500 last weekend.
I was at the Indy 500, and it was a bucket list event.
And you had a conversation with Matt Pauley about it.
I did. I was on Sports Open Line with him.
That's pretty cool. Thanks, Matt, for having Brad on. But, what do you guys think about NASCAR coming into town? Matt, is that I assume that's a pretty big deal for the city?
It's huge. I'm not a big auto racing guy. I follow along with it. I don't understand it. I don't like the science behind it. I kind of get drafting, and that's the extent of what can go on. When people are talking about the next gen car and the single source parts and all that sort of stuff, I hear those things said all the time. I have no clue what any of that means. But the bigger thing here is it's the city of St. Louis and the St. Louis area getting a really big event. And then it's also, these drivers love this track. These drivers love the fan support they get. Nobody does big sports events better than the St. Louis area, and we're seeing that with this weekend.
Yeah, I was looking at this, and you mentioned the track. The thing about this track that makes it so unique is that it's not a regular oval. turns 1 and 2 are a lot tighter than turns 3 and 4. So they get high speeds in 3 and 4.
Are they all left turns?
All left turns.
Okay.
And then they got to slow way
there
down to make that turn in turn 1 and 2. And it creates for some interesting setups in the cars. And it also creates for some interesting driving because, it always catches some drivers off guard and they go into the wall backwards because they went too fast into turn 1 and 2. But it's a fast track and it's also a fun track because there's a lot of passing that goes on.
Well, the long straightaway is what I keep here to talk about, and that's where you can increase speed, right? Like,
right.
Is that
just 55-70?
Yeah, it's 55-70.
Okay.
4 lanes, just whoosh. No, you come out at 3 and 4 because it's such a broad and wide turn that you're able to maintain momentum from the backstretch and get out down the straight front stretch for the start-finish line.
Matt Pauley, we'll be listening to Camwick Sports Open Line. It's going to be a up and down season, and you're always on it, and we're always grateful when you come spend some time with us. Thanks for being here.
Thanks.
Yep.
Appreciate it.
Yep. We'll talk to you again. Matt Pauley, Camwick's Sports Open Line host, with us here on the Annie Frey Show. Let's take a quick break. At 1:25, Ask Me Anything. Get on the Annie Frey YouTube channel and send questions to Hannah. She's demanding it. She's real demanding. We'll be right back.
Did you know the IRS is a super creditor? Hi, I'm Lance Drury with the Lance Drury Law Firm. The IRS is the only creditor that can create a bill for you without your permission, then drop the hammer and aggressively collect it by wiping out your bank account, seizing your assets, and levying your wages. No other creditor can do that, and this can all happen without a court approval. If you owe back taxes, you need to be prepared to face the super creditor. Don't just sit back and take it. Fight back. At the Lance Drury Law Firm, we know how to use the laws to your advantage and go toe-to-toe with the IRS. Our office is located right here in St. Louis. Contact the Lance Drury Law Firm today for a free consultation with me, or visit us at lancedrurylaw.com or call 314-260-6120. That's 314-260-6120 to get started.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
We made it. Summer is here, and I hope you have an incredible vacation planned. Mark Cox for my friends at Brenton Vision. If you've considered vision correction, now is the time to act before that summer vacation. Brenton Vision is the only place in Missouri you find all 7 forms of advanced vision correction, and their surgeon, Dr. Jason Brenton, explains these advanced treatments have a very quick recovery time. You don't have to miss out at all on your summer fun. And maybe you're thinking, well, how do I spend money on that and an awesome vacation? You can do both. Brenton Vision has very affordable payment plans. You can absolutely budget for clear vision and a great vacation this summer. Don't just take my word for it. My wife had lens replacement at Brenton Vision and she loves it. Look up Brenton Vision online. Check out the over 1,100 5-star reviews. Call them at 314-375-2020. 314-375-2020 or brentonvision.com.
KFTK FM Florissant. From the Under Law Injury Lawyers, GetJim.com studio. 97.1 FM Talk. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
A partial building collapse. Lisa Brady, Fox News. This just in from New Haven, Connecticut, just a few blocks away from the Yale campus. 6 people injured, including 2 critically hurt. Early reports that they might all be construction workers. This partial collapse is in a building that's under construction. At the apartment building that partially collapsed last Sunday. 3 people still missing there are now presumed dead. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis now in South Carolina, continuing an early campaign blitz.
When I tell you I'm going to do something, I don't just say that because I think that may be what you want to hear, then get into office and forget all the promises I made. If I tell you I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it.
Defending his own record and criticizing the Biden administration as the Republican field continues to grow. President Biden addresses the nation tonight about the debt limit deal. It's now awaiting his signature. He's also praising the new jobs report as more evidence his economic plan is working. 339,000 jobs created in May. The Republican National Committee chair says Americans are still being hit with Bidenflation. The Air Force says a report raising more concern about artificial intelligence was taken out of context. This after a version that went viral about a drone trying to kill its human operator during a simulation.
It blew up on social media after an Air Force colonel discussed the hypothetical of this situation.
The Pentagon says this was only a discussion and that such an event has not occurred. We got a quote from the Air Force. They say the Air Force has not conducted any such AI drone simulations and remains committed to ethical and responsible use of AI technology.
Fox's Mark Meredith at the White House. The federal government and the military are assessing the risks and benefits of artificial intelligence, something the British Prime Minister plans to discuss with President Biden when they meet next week. America is listening to Fox News.
At Simply Safe, we design award-winning security to protect every inch of your home. It's easy to set up yourself, and now there's an even easier option. Have an expert do it for you with Simply Safe Pro Install. Always protecting, never a contract. 2 easy installation options, backed by 24/7 professional monitoring for less than $1 a day. Get 20% off any new system with Fast Protect monitoring at simplysafe.com/radio. There's no safe like Simply Safe.
Millions are switching to Newsmax. After Tucker Carlson's firing, The Eric Bolling Show is up over 200% in the ratings. Tonight, watch Newsmax's powerful lineup of Greta Van Susteren, Rob Schmidt, and Eric Bolling. At 8 p.m. Eastern, Eric Bolling reveals the truth about Joe Biden's mental health. Is he really fit to be president? Watch America's fastest-growing cable news channel and download the free Newsmax app on your smartphone to start watching. Make the switch to Newsmax.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation, weather.
Partly sunny skies with us going through our Friday afternoon. There might be an isolated thunder shower, but pretty tough to find. 91 should do it. Tonight, beautiful evening in the 80s. Clear skies, 65 for the low. Saturday, sunny, 95 degrees. So it's a hot day, but the humidity levels are okay. Very close to the record of 96. Sunday, pretty, partly sunny, comfortable humidity, and 92. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
If you're as thankful to your first responders as we are, then nominate a local department and let us feed them a great meal. Compliments of Grill Master Tony Stone. Mark Cox here. Visit 971talk.com/contests. Help us feed our first responders. You can nominate someone today. Now's the time to get started on that next outdoor project at your house with Chesterfield Fence and Deck. Mark Cox here from my friends at Chesterfield Fence. You're going to love this company. They're locally owned and operated since 1968. And if you have their sign in your front yard, it's a sign you have the very best. Stop by their showroom in Chesterfield. Take a look at their beautiful wood and vinyl fences. If you need a deck, they have the beautiful cedar, of course, but that Vecadec vinyl decking, no maintenance. It's fantastic. They've got lots of great deals. 48 months interest-free financing on your next outdoor project. When you mention you heard Mark Cox talking about this, they have custom sunrooms, screen rooms, pergolas, patios, even retaining walls they can work on for you. And of course, Better Business Bureau accredited business with an A+ rating. Call them today at 636-532-4054 or go online at chesterfieldfence.com.
Buying and selling a home on the Illinois side of the river is made much simpler when you partner with Jen Teskey with RE/MAX Alliance. You get the whole Jen Teskey team, and it's a pretty fabulous team. They've been in here and they played X's and O's with us on Fridays. They are fun, but they are tenacious as their fearless leader, Jen Teskey. RE/MAX Alliance and JenTeskeyHomes.com, where you can go learn more about Jen Teskey, is a powerful tool to have behind your home selling process. And if you're looking for the perfect home and you want somebody who's going to negotiate on your behalf and help you get the house that you've been dreaming of having, you need to have somebody who understands the market. And when you're looking on the Illinois side of the river in the Metro East, Jen Teskey is the person. You can call her, you can text her at 618-541-1010. That's 618-541-1010. If you're thinking about listing your home, if you're even considering it, you don't even necessarily know what the timeline is, have a conversation with Jen Teskey. It's going to cost you literally nothing, and you're going to be positioned in the best possible way when you do choose to list your home to get it sold for the price you want in the timeline that you need. JenTeskeyHomes.com.
Hello, I am your Missouri State Treasurer, Vivek Malik. As State Treasurer, I am the custodian of unclaimed property like military medals that came from safe deposit boxes. If you or a loved one served in the United States Armed Forces, we may be able to help you recover lost medals. It is our patriotic duty to return lost medals to veterans and their relatives. For more information, go to showmemoney.com.
Sponsored by the Missouri State Treasurer's Office.
Mark Cox here. If you're nearing retirement or already retired, call my friends Thomas Helbig and Bob Kershaw with the Retirement Advisory Group. They'll show you how to link to the market without the risk. They're the official financial advisors of my show. Go online to retirementkey.com.
This hour of the Annie Frey Show is brought to you by Ruler Foods. Low prices, no coupons. Ruler Foods.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what they're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
Right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Come on, turn the radio on. It's Saturday and I won't be long.
Don't get me wrong. I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Frey Show.
If you've ever listened to this show before, you know that I am not a fan of AI. I think artificial intelligence sucks, and we should knock it off yesterday. Does anybody disagree with that?
No, I've seen The Matrix. I know how this game ends. I know how this movie ends.
I think it's everywhere, even if we don't want it to be. I say I'm against it, but I probably use it and don't even realize
you
it.
do. Everybody has it.
It's very accusatory. Why don't you call Hannah out here right now?
You use AI, Hannah.
Okay. No, I don't.
Hannah's an AI user.
She's like, the computers told me you would say that. It's getting weirder out there. I don't know. I don't know what to do with this. This is odd.
I met in the Oval Office, in my office, with 8 leading scientists in the area of AI. Some are very worried that AI can actually overtake human thinking and planning. So we got a lot to deal with.
I'd like to know what they were talking about in that meeting. Were they making suggestions?
Yeah. Wow.
So we have a solution. TheGuardian.com. U.S. Air Force denies running simulation in which AI drone killed operator.
Oh, they're saying they didn't run it.
Well, of course they are.
I wouldn't admit it.
This is really scary sugar. Denial follows Colonel saying drone used, quote, highly unexpected strategies to achieve its goal in virtual test. The U.S. Air Force has denied it has conducted an AI simulation in which a drone decided to kill its operator to prevent it from interfering with its effort to achieve its mission. So this is how this went. The drone, this is all a simulation, so this didn't actually happen yet. This drone was tasked with carrying out a mission. And the person who was operating the drone said to it, we're going to not pursue.
Right.
Pulling back. Right?
Right.
And the drone goes, you're impeding my mission. You must die. Holy crap. That's terrifying. That's really scary stuff. And the Air Force is like, nothing to see here. This isn't even real. Holy crap. Is this real? Colonel Tucker Cinco Hamilton described a simulated test in which a drone powered by artificial intelligence was advised to destroy an enemy's air defense systems and ultimately attacked anyone who interfered with that order. Let me underscore anyone. Hamilton said the system started realizing that while they did identify the threat, at times the human operator would tell it not to kill that threat, but it got its points by killing that threat. So what did it do? It killed the operator. It killed the operator because that person was keeping it from accomplishing its objective. We train the system. Hey, don't kill the operator. That's bad. You're going to lose points if you do that. Are we talking to 3-year-olds here? No, we're talking to operator killing drones. So what does it start doing? It starts destroying the communication tower that the operator uses to communicate with the drone to stop it from killing the target. Smart drone. No real person was harmed. Good indication in this article. Thank you. Hamilton, who is an experimental fighter test pilot, has warned against relying too much on AI and said the test showed, quote, you can't have a conversation about artificial intelligence, machine learning, autonomy if you're not going to talk about ethics and AI. I was right. Hello? Get rid of this. I hate it.
That's kind of what Elon Musk and like you said, the Air Force has denied this and whatnot, but it's what Elon Musk has said. AI is goal oriented. You give it a goal, it will achieve that goal, and it will knock down or mow over whatever is in its way. And if that happens to be people, it will knock down and mow over people if the people are trying to prevent it from achieving its goal. Because the only thing that matters to AI at that point is the goal. It does, and like you were saying, ethics. It doesn't have ethics. It doesn't have feelings. It has a goal and a mission, and it's to achieve that.
So you know how I talk about, well, do you know what an EMP is, Hannah?
Yeah, we've talked about them before.
Here's the deal. I have a new level of anxiety that I've achieved. New unlocked anxiety for Annie Frey. What if the EMP ends up being of our own doing because it's the only way to stop the AI machines?
I mean, that sounds more probable than
I can't
other
even
things.
get down that rabbit hole. I don't want to get down that rabbit hole.
Think about it, though. How do you stop it?
That's how you do it.
You have to fry every electromagnetic pulse.
Anything
needs to go.
Anything that could connect to the internet, because if not, the AI could go into that. It's really weird to stop and think about that because, so a great example of that is.
Hold on a second. I'm going to order some more food. Go on.
Avengers, the Age of Ultron. That was the thing. Ultron was a computer program. It was an AI, and it escaped into the internet. And when it escaped into the internet, every time they would kill the robot, the consciousness, the AI itself would just jump into a new robot. And
Age of Ultron?
Mm-hmm.
I need to watch that one again.
Yeah. So that was the whole thing. They created it. They combined it. You remember Jarvis. They combined it.
For science purposes.
Yeah. Because, they wanted to protect the world. That was what Tony Stark and Bruce
Elon Musk
Banner's goal was to protect the world. And so they created Ultron, and Ultron turned out to be a bad guy.
If Elon Musk is Tony Stark, who's Bruce Banner? Trump.
There's no way.
That's funny. He's kind of two people. One of them is the Kool-Aid man, which I said yesterday, and the other one is
the mild-mannered scientist.
Dang it, that's genius. You people get it. Oh man. I'll just simmer on that right now. It's not bad.
Yeah. I mean, too, if you watch The Matrix, the plot of The Matrix is the reason why there is a Matrix is because the people, whenever the AI rose up, the people used EMPs to try to stop the robots. And so whenever the robots didn't have EMPs, or whenever they didn't have a source of electricity, and they said they scorched the sky, they had clouds over the sky to stop solar energy, they started using people as batteries. And that's where The Matrix came from.
I don't think I've watched. Were all of those movies out in the 90s, or were some of them 2000s?
Late 90s, early 2000s.
Never seen any of them.
I haven't seen them since then, and it was very, sci-fi futuristic. It's referential at this point. People are like, this is, in the Matrix, when people say that stuff all the time. This is the Matrix, red pill, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
I guess I need to watch it again, but I don't want to watch it as if it's historical. I don't want that in my life. Lawrence Fishburne, right?
Yep, Lawrence Fishburne, Keanu Reeves,
Neo,
Agent Smith, Mr. Anderson.
Yeah, if you were a Mr. Anderson somewhere in the 90s, that sucked for you. Sorry. So if you, this is the rabbit hole that I do live in almost literally, which is what happens after the EMP. On our Cleveland trip, I've talked about listening to the book 1 Second After before, which is a book about 1 second after the EMP hits. And it's is it by William Forstchen, or is it read by William? I think William Forstchen wrote it.
Yeah.
That's right, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah. And he's been on the show before. We've talked to him before. But it's all about what happens right after an EMP hits, and then within pretty much a year of that time. And it's very interesting, and it makes me want to do even more preparatory things. I wonder how many people who are listening right now. I mean, this is who's the guy in Justified? The main actor in Justified?
Is it Timothy Olyphant?
Is it Duhamel?
I don't know. I've never watched Justified.
Duhamel, prepper. I'm gonna Google that right now. I think it's Josh Duhamel.
Okay.
Is that how you say his name? Duhamel? I don't even know. I never watched Justified, but it was very popular with a lot of people. This was a story that came out over the weekend or last week, and he's casually preparing a compound for the end of the world. And his words, it keeps my lizard brain active. Not my words. Those are his words. And then he goes into kind of detail about the specifics. I think it's in North or South Dakota. And he's like, I have this compound in South Dakota. It's 30 acres. We have this, that. And I'm like, shh. That's not how you prep. You don't talk about it.
Or maybe it's not there.
That's where he's sending people.
Yep.
It's actually in LA where nobody would look.
Yeah.
Do you think that people have always looked at preppers as somewhat crazy people, unless you are a prepper and then you think you are the smartest man alive or woman?
Well, yeah, they're crazy people until they're not.
Sure. But that's never going to be proven, because if they're in the element where they're proven right, they're not going to have the means to tell anybody. It's kind of tragic irony.
Yeah.
Send carrier pigeons out to the world to be like, and it's just going to have one message. It's going to say, see?
Yeah. A whole bunch of pigeons with little letters wrapped around their legs.
They're feeding these pigeons right now just to tell everybody. Scoreboard.
Scoreboard.
Yeah.
Prepper 1, U0.
I think that the key thing, I've been toying with the idea of potentially adding a weekly episode to the Annie Frey Show podcast that we would release on the weekends, working on the details of this, of what I would refer to as practical prepping.
Oh.
Which is to think about the things that you can do now that are realistic, probably on the affordable end, but not only beneficial in case the world were in the tribulation, which I don't believe. Well, it's complicated. But I mean, if first of all, buying guns and ammo is certainly something that makes sense, in my opinion, on a Tuesday, any given Tuesday. If you're talking about the day after the EMP, you're going to wish that you would have done that. You're not going to be able to go out and buy those things in standard measure post EMP. But I'm thinking about adding basically weekend programming to the Annie Frey Show on hobbyist things that I'm involved in. What do you think about that?
I mean, I think it could be entertaining.
Mm-hmm.
I think it might make people think maybe she's a little bit crazy, but if you make it practical,
it's more about the practicality. And the other thing too is the EMP is the most dramatic version of what you need to be prepared. Let's not pretend we don't know what it's like to have floods here. Let's not pretend we don't know what it's like to have major power outages. We've had some major power outages due to weather that is in the summer and also in the winter.
Right.
And I will tell you this as well. That formula shortage that took place when Molly was 10 and a half months old, and I was blessed at that point to be able to buy, the can of formula that we bought for Molly, we always replaced the reserve can. And that was something that with my son, we would not have been able to do that because we did not have any money. When we had my son, we were not in a position. I mean, every dollar, every penny had to be accounted for when we first had my son. You know, now for me to be able to buy an extra $30 can and have one in reserve and one that we're scooping out of, that's a good place to be. So we had that. And as soon as I realized, we're getting kind of close here to where Molly is going to turn 1 and the formula that she is going to need can now go over to milk. I want to have the cans I need so that I can get her that far. And it became to the point where I couldn't even do that. And I called my pediatrician and I said, listen, Molly's 11 months old. She's very healthy. She has no needs outside of a completely healthy 11-month-old. I can't find formula right now. We've got 1 can in reserve. We're not going to make it to 12 months without buying more. Should I stop buying formula so somebody who needs it can have it. And they said, no, you need to feed her this formula through 12 months. Jen Teskey, of all people, she's near and dear to my heart. She's a friend of mine. She is a sponsor of the show. But Jen Teskey was in mid-Missouri, and she messaged me. She's like, hey, I'm in a store here in mid-Missouri. Do you need formula? And she took a picture and they had the formula that she needed. And Jen brought some back and put it on my doorstep. God bless her. That was really scary. And if Molly needed to go on milk, she would have been fine on milk. We would have supplemented her with some vitamins and stuff. But it's not what was best for her.
Right.
And in America, I'm looking at making modifications because we can't get baby formula. Don't forget that happened. And when I think about, like, good grief, Bette Midler was like, just feed them the old-fashioned way. I'm like, yeah, let me get these boobs going back again while the baby is 11 months old and I was not breastfeeding this entire time because I have 3 other children and it's not feasible. Like, people are so short-sighted, so rude, and so ignorant and so vocal. How does that happen? Because we're so indulgent in ourselves and so detached from how quickly reality can set in a moment like that. I was talking to somebody who's close to me who was saying, I told him, like, you need to listen to this book. And this person's listening to this book. And they messaged me and they go, I got $500. What should I do with it? So we were just discussing, like, what's the smart thing to do? And I'm always indicating in that practical prepping kind of mentality that I have, like, you need to think about what your most immediate needs are. And they have a 3.5-month-old. I said, my number one concern would be that distilled water, or not distilled, but like water, jugs of water, and formula. Now, this baby is breastfed by their mother. What if something happens to the mother?
Right.
What do you do? Because I know what it was like to have a 10.5-month-old baby, worried about how that baby was going to eat, but also knowing what it's like to have a teeny tiny baby. And I was panicking in my mother's self for those moms out there who would not have a way to feed their baby if there was no formula. So the idea of being prepared doesn't have to always be like, go to your bunker in the hills where you're going to sit surrounded by your walls of guns. It's not. I mean, that there is that. It requires a ton of money to do that. And it is impractical if it's your first thought, like, maybe I should be a little more fortified for what I need.
You know, I think the other side of that is rather than think of like, I'm going to acquire these things as far as physical needs, also think about acquiring skills that you will need, because at some point, however much stuff you put up, the idea is having enough to get through until things get back to normal, but things may not get back to normal. So having the skills on, like, how to build a shelter, how to make a fire, how to, boil water,
use a tourniquet.
Yeah, these little simple, easy things that, because we're all used to, I'll just flip in YouTube and watch it and figure it out.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, that's great. Use it now.
Yes.
Because YouTube may not be there whenever the time comes.
Have a book.
Have a book. Write stuff down.
Print on paper. Yeah.
The other side of that is, like, you talked about, like, well, how can this happen? If you have a snowstorm and you're on your way home, people get caught in snowstorms all the time.
This just happened in the Northeast last year, and I think 8 people died. Due to hypothermia or whatever it might have been, because they were stuck and they couldn't get out.
Yeah, having a source of heat or warm clothes with you in those situations. There's just, like you said, practical things, small little things that you can think about. And it forces you to think about the worst case scenario. The whole idea is to have all of this stuff, all of these skills acquired, put them on a shelf and have them gather cobwebs so that you never have to use them.
There's peace of mind behind that. And if people think you're crazy, don't care. Kevin says Sam sells 4-gallon jugs of purified water for $5 each. You can't live long at all without water. There are some good cheap water purifiers too. Christopher says rule of 3s: 3 minutes without oxygen, 3 days without water, 3 weeks without food, give or take. I mean, these are just basic things that if you allow yourself, like I have more than allowed myself, the opportunity to kind of spin these thoughts in my head. Once I have taken measures to provide for my family, I don't know that I would be this motivated if I weren't thinking about my kids. But with my kids there, who I know will rely on me, now I'm to the point where it's like, if I have the means to do it, to learn a skill, which is free, or to invest a little bit in some emergency food or water or baby formula that's going to sit on your shelf. And then what you do is you use that formula and you replace the backup one. And so that you have a buffer so that you feel confident and all that. You're going to feel better for it. And if people think you're silly, that's okay.
Yeah.
They probably think you're silly anyway. All right, let's take a quick break. Ask me anything when we come back. Hannah, you got some questions coming in from folks?
Yep. Keep them coming, though,
Keep
on
'em
our
coming.
live stream.
Annie Frey YouTube channel is where you can go join us, not to mention the fact that we have a YouTube poll up right now. What should happen to President Joe Biden? That's the question we are asking you. He should resign, 25th Amendment removal, impeachment, or nothing. He should pursue the second team. Let's go, Brandon. You go vote on the YouTube poll, and we'll be back with Ask Me Anything with your questions to us when we return.
From the first You're listening to the Annie Frey Show on St. Louis's home for conservative talk.
Hey, Father's Day is coming up, and let's face it, Dad can be hard to shop for, but you know what dads really like? Steak. Omaha steaks are amazing, and the experts there have made it very easy to put a smile on Dad's face this Father's Day. Head on over to omahasteaks.com, use the promo code FMTalk at checkout, and get $30 off your qualifying order. You can choose from bacon-wrapped fillets, air-chilled boneless chicken breasts, burgers, jumbo franks, and more. And if Dad has a sweet tooth, I know I do, most gift packages come with 4 delicious caramel apple tartlets. Omaha steaks equal the world's best beef, naturally aged for the ultimate in juiciness and flavor. Think about Dad opening up a delicious package from Omaha Steaks on Father's Day. Every steak and every entree is flash frozen, vacuum sealed, and ready for Dad to love whenever he's hungry. And let's face it, he'll probably share. It's all backed by an unconditional 100% money back guarantee. Place your order today at omahasteaks.com. Use that promo code FMTalk at checkout to get $30 off your order. 5 generations of family-owned expertise means uncompromising quality you can trust. Minimum order required. Head to omahasteaks.com today.
Diamonds Direct takes our most popular offer ever up to the next level. Now, for a limited time, you can make any purchase and take advantage of special financing for up to 5 years, or get $5,000 off. Get the lowest possible monthly payment, or get a generous cash credit. It's all about giving you more. Design the ring of your dreams with our most flexible finance options and best savings ever offered. Diamonds Direct. Your love, our passion. Get details and more at diamondsdirect.com. On approved credit.
If you're thinking about selling your St. Louis area home, you might be overwhelmed by the process, especially in this market. Mark Cox here. I strongly recommend you call and spend 5 minutes getting to know Gloria Liu with Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. Gloria understands you have questions and that selling your home can be stressful. She has mastered the home selling process with her Guaranteed Sold program. It simply states Gloria will sell your home at your agreed to price and time frame, or Gloria will buy it. So what's her secret? Gloria already has the buyers. The fact is your home may already be sold. Let Gloria show you how she nets her home sellers more money and how she sells faster on average. Need more proof? Check out Gloria's 5-star reviews and get moving. Call Gloria Liu today at 314-325-6888. That's 314-325-6888, or visit GloriaHasTheBuyers.com. Conditions apply. Gloria and the seller must agree on price and possession date.
This is a special alert to all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles with an auto warranty about to expire or with no warranty coverage at all. Due to a decline in the economy, CarShield is announcing a low-cost month-to-month vehicle protection plan that is now available to the public to save any driver out-of-pocket expenses on future auto repairs. Call now to find out how you can pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. Yes, you heard that correctly. Pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. An open phone line has been established for all drivers to call for a free quick quote. Call 800-652-5241 now. Drivers who are covered will not have to pay for covered repairs again. This protection plan is at an all-time low. Additionally, drivers who activate this vehicle protection today will also receive free roadside assistance, free towing, and car rental options at no additional cost. Call us for your free quick quote today. 800-652-5241. That's 800-652-5241. What do you have to lose? Call 800-652-5241. Again, 800-652-5241.
You've listened to 97.1 FM Talk. You've heard of Doug Voss of Voss Financial and Safe Money Radio, as he has been a staple as the financial expert on the station for many years. You can hear him on Safe Money Radio several times a weekend right here on 97.1 FM Talk. And you can talk to Doug Voss directly. Here's his number. Call Doug at 844-676-SAFE. That is 844-676-7233. Doug Voss is a registered representative. Securities offered through D.H. Hill Securities, LLLP. Member FINRA and SIPC.
You're listening to the Annie Frey Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation Studio. Save up to $7,500 on a new hybrid HVAC system and save an additional 20% when bundled with attic insulation. This is a limited time offer. For details and a free estimate, visit aircomfortservice.com.
The Mark Reardon Show.
It's always a fun Friday show. We'll take you into the weekend with a Reardon Roundtable. Jane Duker, State Senator Mary Elizabeth Coleman, Attorney Paul Woody, all on the panel. Join us at 3.
Weekdays from 3 to 6.
St. Louis's home for conservative talk.
You're listening to The Annie Frey Show. Find the podcast, on-demand audio, and more at 971talk.com/Annie.
Welcome back to the Annie Frey Show. Happy Friday. Happy Friday. Happy Friday. Happy Friday. It's always good to hear that. And we are grateful to be spending some of it with you this afternoon. Reminder, you can watch and chat along with us on the Annie Frey YouTube channel right now. Our YouTube live chat poll. What should happen to President Joe Biden? He should resign, 25th Amendment removal, impeachment, or nothing. Pursue that second term. We've got very interesting results coming in right now. So we're going to really need your feedback on this poll. Get in there and vote. If you go to the Annie Frey YouTube channel, you'll see we are broadcasting live today, as we do each day. And in the live chat portion is where that poll is located. Go vote, leave us a comment, and a question for Ask Me Anything if you have it.
You have to ask me nicely. Don't make me beg here.
Ask me anything.
Tell me the truth! All right, let's start off here with RS's question. He has a little summer question. Do you guys prefer watermelon, honeydew, or cantaloupe?
So I'm going to go watermelon, then cantaloupe, then honeydew in that order. But watermelon by far is my favorite.
I don't like any of them.
What?
I know. It's a tragedy. I try watermelon once a summer because it looks so good. I don't like it.
Definitely for me, honeydew, cantaloupe, watermelon.
Weirdo.
All good though. Really, really all good.
Whenever they have fresh fruit as like a side or something, I always ask, and I'm always like berries, not melons, berries, not melons, because any berry, delicious. Melons, bleh. I don't know why. Just don't like it.
Balls asks for Annie, what is the hardest and best part of watching your son play baseball?
Oh,
I know. Pull on the heartstrings on this Friday afternoon.
Easy way to answer this question. The hardest part is watching him fail. The easiest part, or the best part, is watching him succeed. But the most important part is probably watching him fail. It's so important to get your kids involved in things that are separate from you, where they have to succeed and fail based on two things: the effort that they put into it versus the effort that other kids put into it, and dumb luck. Because in life, you're going to fail because you didn't prepare. You're also going to fail because you got unlucky. It's important to be able to distinguish what the difference is between those two things, but also know that you really can't over-prepare. So I was just having this conversation with another parent yesterday at the baseball game, and the kid was getting frustrated from time to time that they weren't hitting as well as they should be. And the parent was like, "Are you working on it?" Well, and then the excuses come in. We've had these conversations in my household as well. And, you know, the answer there is if you went 0-3, you prepared to go 0-3. That's what you invested in. And if you're putting your best stuff against another pitcher's best stuff, how much did they go work on pitching? Because if they didn't work much on pitching, your best stuff is probably going to best their theirs because they didn't prepare to do better than that. So if you're 0-3, it's because that's what you prepared for if you haven't been working on it. The other instance in that, though, the flip side is if your kid is working hard and they are preparing and they go in 0-3, maybe the other guy's better than you. And that's okay too. But you have to be able to distinguish the difference. And we live in a culture today where, boy, if you go 0-3, there's a lot of people out there trying to make you understand that everybody else did that to you.
This is true.
That, unfortunately, for my kids, is not what they're learning.
It is not unfortunate.
That's not
for
the
your
Frey
kids.
lesson.
All right, I'll bounce off this question and ask you, since we talked about it earlier in the show. You were talking about how you're in charge of walk-up songs at your son's home games.
The kids get to request their own songs, but I play them.
So what is Charlie's walk-up song?
Hot Stepper.
Hot Stepper? Is it different from the last
the
year?
90s version.
What is
Last
that?
year was Gangnam Style.
Yeah.
And Chicken Wing, which is a Fortnite song, maybe.
Yep.
Is it something out of chicken wing, hot dog and bologna, chicken and macaroni, chilling with my homies.
Yep, I know.
Yes, that one. And Gangnam Style, which is funny because you played it when he
So
walks up,
fun.
and then the kids are still young enough that the people on defense start doing Gangnam Style. You're like, this one, it's the Hot Stepper from 1990 something. Any Kamosi or something like that.
Man, I don't recognize that name at all.
I think that I said all the right letters. I don't know if they're in the right order.
So funny. All right. Person 314 from our YouTube channel asked Annie.
Vague.
I know, super vague. Annie, what is the best time of year to visit Disney with or without kids?
It's always best without kids. Hi,
That's
kids.
just the truth.
Kids are home from school and they always, Mom. That's right. The real answer to that question is whenever you can, in my opinion, because you got to make it work however it works best for you. But I'm having a hard time thinking that when we went isn't the best time.
I was
that
going to
I've
say,
gone.
I can't argue that
I mean, the
week of
weather
May
was-
6th, that was, I mean, perfect.
I've gone in late January. That's fun. But when I went in January 2022, it was literally 31 degrees one day. Woo! Not what you wanted.
Not as fun.
That's not why I'm in Florida. I've been in February technically, which was a holdover from the January one. I've never been in March. I've never been in April, which is my birthday month, Jared. Now I've been in May. Fantastic.
So good.
June was fine. We usually make our trip in mid to end July that goes into August. It's really hot, but folks, St. Louis is hot. So if you can hang here in the hot, humid weather, you got to think the difference is, though, that you're outside doing things as opposed to here like, oh, it's awful outside. I'm going to go inside. But that's when we can go. That's when baseball season is over before school starts. It's when we can go. I wouldn't miss it for the world. I've been in September over Labor Day. That was fine. Crowds were not very busy. I've been in November over Veterans Day. That was great. And I don't know if we went in December, maybe.
She said you in November during over veterans.
Yeah.
That team seems like a good time.
It
to
was
go
fun.
because there
Christmas
wouldn't be a lot of
decorations
people.
were up.
Oh,
too.
they were up by
Yep.
then. Oh, that'd be
Christmas
cool.
decorations go up November 1st. So if you want a Disney Christmas, you can start it November 1st.
Ooh. All right. Quick Rick asked.
Totally without kids.
What do you believe makes you good at your job?
You go
Quick
first.
Rick wants to know. What do you believe makes you good at your job?
This is where if Wiggins were here, I'd go, so if you were good at your job, what would you think it would be? Just kidding.
That's kind of a hard question.
Brad knows.
So I don't like talking about myself in this sense, but
Here's where I would use the word conceited wrong.
yeah. But I look at this.
Hannah,
I think
vocabulary. Your strength is vocabulary.
I think
No, it's not.
one of
Definitely
the
not.
things is that I always have a thought on something. There's very few things that I don't have an opinion on, but I think specifically at my job, I think that my technical savvy helps out a bunch. And I think that I have a bulldogish determination to get things right. And so I work really hard to make sure that I do things right. And whenever I screw up, whenever I mess up, it doesn't set me back. It doesn't cause me. I just keep plowing forward.
I would probably say my passion. I love what I do, and I put a lot of effort in towards every single little detail of things I do here with Odyssey. I love radio. I love the art of radio. I love the audience. So I think that my passion drives all of my success.
What do I believe makes me good at my job? Lots of failure.
That helps.
lots of failure. And I think that honestly, one of the things that lends to success, however good I am at this, I'm not sure yet. I probably won't know until it's over, which in radio is like, I don't know, hopefully not tomorrow, Saturday. That sucked. The idea that I have been in radio since 2006. I've done this for a very long time. It's been I'm not even say that on the air. That's not even true. I did lose my job one time, but I got it back in the same meeting, which was weird. A story for another time. I have served more time in this industry in a background support role than I have in the role where my name is on the show. And the amount of work that goes into making something like this successful has so many more people with a hand in it than the person whose name on the show. And I have worked with people who never understood that and never grasped that. And I've still had to support them and serve them and do it in a positive, contributory kind of way. And I've also worked with people who are incredibly selfless and gracious. And that's always my goal. I'm always trying to do that. I'm probably not always great at it, but I have seen the background of what makes things successful. And I've also watched people fail in big ways. And I've just learned a lot from that. And I've made a lot of mistakes myself. So I don't know.
That was a good one.
Let's take a quick break. You got more questions?
I do.
Okay. More Ask Me Anything right here on the Annie Frey Show when we come back. The YouTube live chat poll. If you're getting onto the YouTube channel to ask your question, go vote in that poll, which is in the live chat of today's live broadcast. What should happen to President Joe Biden? He should resign. The 25th Amendment removal process, impeachment, or nothing. He should pursue a second term. Your vote is going to have an impact on how these results shape up. So get on the Annie Frey YouTube channel right now and weigh in. We'll be back with more Ask Me Anything in just a minute. Don't go away.
The Annie Frey Show is streaming online. Watch us live on YouTube and subscribe.
The Foley Dental Group is online at foleydentalgroup.com, and they're accepting new patients right now. I think there's a lot of things that different dentists will do to try to attract people to consider them to be their family dentist. But at the end of the day, it really just comes to being able to provide the care, the dental health attention that you need so that you're comfortable. I think that's a prevailing concern that people have. When they're choosing a dentist, you want to be able to go into some place that's going to be respectful for you, especially if you haven't been to the dentist in a while. You walk in, you sit down, you feel comfortable, and you know that you're getting the best dental care around. You're going to find that at Foley Dental Group. And if you're looking for a new dentist, if you want to go check out the facilities, they're brand new. They're located at 270 and 159. Very simple to get to from anywhere where you can access 270 in Maryville and Glen Carbon area. And they're waiting for you to give them a call. Mention the Annie Frey Show when you do. 618-288-9670. 618-288-9670. They have a whole health approach to your dental care, and you're going to see that immediately. You're going to love the results. You're going to be comfortable, and you're going to be thinking, I should have called them sooner. It's Foley Dental Group, online at foleydentalgroup.com.
Updating your home with James Hardie Siding has never been more popular. With all the options available, you need a partner to maximize your investment. The rising prices on vinyl siding has made Hardie Siding a great alternative. Siding Express is ready to refresh the appearance of your home or totally transform the look by installing Hardie Shake, board and batten, lap siding, or a stone accent to make it your dream home again. Siding Express is an elite preferred James Hardie contractor. Need ideas? Go to sidingexpress.com and schedule a free, no-obligation consultation today.
Did you know the IRS is a super creditor? Hi, I'm Lance Drury with the Lance Drury Law Firm. The IRS is the only creditor that can create a bill for you without your permission, then drop the hammer and aggressively collect it by wiping out your bank account, seizing your assets, and levying your wages. No other creditor can do that, and this can all happen without a court approval. If you owe back taxes, you need to be prepared to face the super creditor. Don't just sit back and take it. Fight back. At the Lance Drury Law Firm, we know how to use the laws to your advantage and go toe-to-toe with the IRS. Our office is located right here in St. Louis. Contact the Lance Drury Law Firm today for a free consultation with me, or visit us at lancedrurylaw.com or call 314-260-6120. That's 314-260-6120 to get started.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
You had a solid retirement dream. Sell your home in a few years, bank the equity, downsize, and travel. But inflation and recession has you wondering if all your hard-earned equity will still be there. What if you could recession-proof your equity right now? You can with TrueHold. TrueHold will buy your home for its best current value before a recession can erode it. You get to bank all the cash now and live in your home for as long as you want. And TrueHold covers all property taxes, insurance, repairs, and maintenance. And since TrueHold pays your home's current value in cash now, it's yours to do whatever you'd like. Don't wait for inflation, recession, and interest rates to erode your home's value. Visit TrueHold.com and discover how much TrueHold will buy your home for today, based on its best current value, not what's coming. Call 1-855-300-9993 or visit TrueHold.com. The smarter, faster way to cash out on your home's value without having to move. That's TrueHold.com.
Today's YouTube poll is asking what should happen to President Joe Biden. Should he resign? Should something happen with the 25th Amendment removal? Should he be impeached or nothing? He should pursue his second term. Let us know what you think. Vote on the Annie Frey Show YouTube poll. The time is 1:47. This update is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
Connect with the personalities and give your feedback. 97.1 FM Talk is on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. For content that's additional to the radio, join us there.
I wasn't just broken, I was shattered.
You're listening to The Annie Frey Show.
I trusted you so much, you're all that mattered.
Find the podcast, on-demand audio, and more at 971talk.com/Annie.
I couldn't move on, and I think you were flattered.
Did you see the reports that Shania Twain's concert, is she in Vegas?
She's coming to St. Louis this weekend.
She is?
Mm-hmm. That's why I played this song.
She's great. Never mind.
Shania and NASCAR in the same weekend. Holy cow.
Yeah. Start your engines. She had a concert and people were like walking out in masks because something was up.
Oh, no.
But that won't happen this weekend. It's going to be great. Happy for all of you who are going.
Not at all.
Never mind. Poorly timed comment. Shania, if you're here, I seriously love you. I do.
Ryan Wiggins loves
I can
you
sing
too.
all your songs and I can play a lot of them on the guitar. I do love Shania Twain. I would like to go to her concert. I think she'd put on a good concert.
I think she would too. All right, Brad, I heard you have a question.
I do, and I closed my app. So my question is this. I have it memorized. If you could be
good for you, Brad.
Yeah, if you could be on any Fox panel, any Fox show panel, what show and why?
Annie?
Gutfeld would be fun.
Oh. I don't know that I could be joked around with that much on Gutfeld. I feel like I'd get my feelings hurt.
Oh, do we hurt your feelings? We don't hurt your feelings.
No. Greg Gutfeld can be pretty rough. I love watching it, but I just don't know if I could take the jokes myself. Maybe. Well, I loved Tucker Carlson. That would have been cool to talk to him. Maybe Outnumbered. I really like the girls on there.
I was thinking the same thing, to be the one lucky guy.
You want to be on Outnumbered.
Yep, the guy.
Yeah. I think Gutfeld would be great. I would love to do Outnumbered. I mean, I would love to do it.
Yeah.
So, I'm not gonna be like, oh no, I'm not. That's the 5's not for me.
I got another one here from Jared Fry.
Oh no.
He says, if the Annie Frey Show was a youth sports team, and it might be sometimes,
yeah,
what would your walk-up music be?
What would yours be?
Danza Conduro by Don Omar.
Whoa, that was very
I have it up on my Spotify. Does this have swear words in it?
It's all in Spanish, so maybe.
That's a good move.
That was really good.
Are you shimmying up to the? Yeah, that's I have to maybe add that. I'm gonna add that to the playlist right now.
It's awesome. All of his stuff. I love his stuff.
What would mine? I mean, good grief. Varsity basketball had a lot of. Can't remember their name now. What was the big angry band in
2002. That Lincoln Park.
Lincoln
my
Park,
skin.
yeah.
That's probably.
Lincoln Park has some good stuff.
I gotta say, I think Taylor Swift is the bomb.
Yeah, I'm a Swiftie now.
Are you ready for it? Is a fantastic song. Bad Blood, all of them. I don't. If it's me in my world and you're all living in it, there might be some Taylor Swift in it. I put on her. Is it called? What is that? What is that album called? That's got Bad Blood on it. It's not Revolution, is it? Am I making that up?
I should know this.
That album I listen to front to back when I run.
Yeah, that's a great
song
great
to song
album.
to song to song to song. Everyone.
Love that.
What's your walk-up music, Hannah? And what are you walking up to do?
That's a good question. All I can yes, definitely not hit a baseball. All I can think of is Work B by Britney Spears. I feel like I'd
good
strut
one.
up to
Yes.
something.
We have that in our we have
do.
the
We have-
instrumental.
We do. I play it for Wiggins
Song.
America.
There's a whole host of songs. Did you get the one I sent you?
I did. I can't wait.
Monday.
For that.
Can it be Monday?
Monday.
We got a real banger. Is that what they say?
Yeah.
It slaps.
It's bussin'.
Just like Ryan Wiggins.
Just call Ryan Wiggins a banger.
Yeah.
No, she didn't. She did not. I can attest to that. What would Ryan Wiggins' song be?
I'm the one that we're going to play for him on Monday.
Yeah.
Man, okay, I'll put it on for Wiggins America Monday. Be here
Be
to
there.
check in for
Be
that.
there on the YouTube live stream Monday, 12:45.
Woo!
Lots
yeah,
of pressure.
it should be good. All right, my question I have written down for us is, what is your hands down favorite vacation you've ever been on?
You guys go first.
Brad?
It's gonna be my honeymoon in Hawaii. Was my favorite vacation. A lot of things happened in that honeymoon. One, it was in Hawaii. It was after I got married. Not that. Get your mind out of the gutter.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm just gonna make Annie feel real small.
Put
That's
it out
where.
there.
No.
That's where
No.
I.
Now I do miss Ryan Wiggins.
We went
Yeah.
deep sea fishing, and I surrendered to ministry on that trip. So
Oh.
I can still see kind of the sunset and feel the rocking of the boat as we were sitting on it, and just the kind of peace that was there.
This is welcome music to be a pastor.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can hear it there. I'm gonna say my first Disney trip with my family, and I know
So special.
everybody thinks that it's like Annie Disney, blah blah blah. I got an email yesterday from our boss, from somebody who says they haven't listened in 6 months because I have not recanted my Disney affinity yet.
Oh, wah wah. We just had a great time.
Why are you emailing 6 months later? It doesn't make sense to me. I'm sorry that the genesis of my affection for Disney has way less to do with Disney, the company, and more to do with where it fits into my life, which is 2017 was the worst year of my life. My husband and I went through an enormous hardship in 2017, and we lost a great deal, a huge portion of our life in 2017. And I had to have a front seat to watching somebody incredibly important to me get persecuted in a way that nobody should have to deal with because of lies and deceit and general abdication of responsibility. We'll put it that way. And we lost so much. And I have talked about this from time to time on the air. And every time I talk about this, I get a message from somebody who says, I know what you're talking about. How did you get through that? Well, we only got through that because of our faith. That's 100% the case. That was all of 2017. In 2018, I got this midday job. My husband got a new job, and we were in a position for the first time ever to take our family on a family vacation. And we decided, because I am frugal, that my Evelyn was 2 years old, so she was still considered not a person that you have to invest in at Disney. She's still free. So we said, let's do the Disney thing. We'll get it out of the way. We'll take the kids, and we're going to do something that is just 100% dedicated to making the kids happy because they have endured so much and lost so much as well. And we spent, I think it was 6 days together, and it was joy all the minutes that we were there. And Disney created a platform for us to have it, but the moment was us there together as a family. And I have always valued that, and I have been able to share that with people, including you guys, and it repeats itself. But it all started with that that one, like when we prayed for peace and happiness, that's where God gave it to me and to my family. And for the people who aren't listening anymore, hi, I know you're still listening. God gave that to me there, and far be it from me to challenge and question God, which is why I still call them out when I think that they're wrong. And I use my voice, and it's mine to give, and it's yours to give. You do what you do. I do what I do. And I still feel very, very adherent to my faith and my morals. And sometimes I think you need to be present where the things are happening to have a stronger voice.
You gotta be a light in the darkness.
Yeah. Because I gotta go back to Disney World.
Yep. My favorite vacation was Siesta Key last year.
Ooh, that sounds
Whoop,
nice.
whoop. So fun.
Well, let's go take another vacation soon. It was fun.
Yes.
Stick around, more Annie Frey Show. Hayes coming in. Is that right? Hayes coming in to react to what politicians are saying on the campaign trail. Don't go away.
Hey, Father's Day is coming up, and let's face it, Dad can be hard to shop for, but you know what Dads really like? Steak. Omaha steaks are amazing, and the experts there have made it very easy to put a smile on Dad's face this Father's Day. Head on over to omahasteaks.com, use the promo code FMTalk at checkout, and get $30 off your qualifying order. You can choose from bacon-wrapped fillets, air-chilled boneless chicken breasts, burgers, jumbo franks, and more. And if Dad has a sweet tooth, I know I do, most gift packages come with 4 delicious caramel apple tartlets. Omaha steaks equal the world's best beef, naturally aged for the ultimate in juiciness and flavor. Think about Dad opening up a delicious package from Omaha Steaks on Father's Day. Every steak and every entree is flash frozen, vacuum sealed, and ready for Dad to love whenever he's hungry. And let's face it, he'll probably share. It's all backed by an unconditional 100% money back guarantee. Place your order today at omahasteaks.com. Use that promo code FMTalk at checkout to get $30 off your order. 5 generations of family-owned expertise means uncompromising quality you can trust. Minimum order required. Head to omahasteaks.com today.
We made it. Summer is here, and I hope you have an incredible vacation planned. Mark Cox for my friends at Brenton Vision. If you've considered vision correction, now is the time to act before that summer vacation. Brenton Vision is the only place in Missouri you find all 7 forms of advanced vision correction, and their surgeon, Dr. Jason Brenton, explains these advanced treatments have a very quick recovery time. You don't have to miss out at all on your summer fun. And maybe you're thinking, well, how do I spend money on that and an awesome vacation? You can do both. Brenton Vision has very affordable payment plans. You can absolutely budget for clear vision and a great vacation this summer. Don't just take my word for it. My wife had lens replacement at Brenton Vision and she loves it. Look up Brenton Vision online. Check out the over 1,100 5-star reviews. Call them at 314-375-2020. 314-375-2020 or brentonvision.com.
This is a special alert to all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles with an auto warranty about to expire or with no warranty coverage at all. Due to a decline in the economy, CarShield is announcing a low-cost month-to-month vehicle protection plan that is now available to the public to save any driver out-of-pocket expenses on future auto repairs. Call now to find out how you can pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. Yes, you heard that correctly. Pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. An open phone line has been established for all drivers to call for a free quick quote. Call 800-652-5241 now. Drivers who are covered will not have to pay for covered repairs again. This protection plan is at an all-time low. Additionally, drivers who activate this vehicle protection today will also receive free roadside assistance, free towing, and car rental options at no additional cost. Call us for your free quick quote today. 800-652-5241. That's 800-652-5241. What do you have to lose? Call 800-652-5241. Again, 800-652-5241.
KFTK FM Florissant. From the Under Law Injury Lawyers, GetJim.com studio, 97.1 FM Talk. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
The White House focusing on the positive. I'm Lisa Brady, Fox News.
I think what's important here is that we averted something that could have been incredibly catastrophic to our economy and hurt American families.
White House spokeswoman Karine Jean-Pierre sidestepping a question on whether the compromised debt limit bill sets a dangerous precedent for future demands by some in Congress. She says the president could sign that bill as soon as tomorrow. He plans to address the nation about it tonight at 7 Eastern. The partial collapse of a building under construction leaves 7 people injured, 2 in critical condition in New Haven, Connecticut, where Fire Chief John Alston says he's proud of rescue crews.
For the extreme care that it takes to remove people from that. It's sharp rebar, plus one of the walls is still unstable. They did some excellent work under some harrowing conditions.
They rescued everyone trapped, some by using a crane to lower stretchers down into that building. New Haven mayor says permitting for the construction project is among the issues under investigation. This less than a week after an apartment building partially collapsed in Davenport, Iowa, where State Task Force Chief Rick Halloran says a search for survivors is over.
That search was completed before sundown last night. That has allowed us to move to the next phase of our mission, securing the building for control and recovery.
3 people remain unaccounted for. The cause of that collapse also still under investigation. Tropical storm Arlene now swirling in the Gulf of Mexico, but not heading for the U.S. coast.
While traveling south towards Cuba, a Hurricane Hunter aircraft finds its winds have strengthened to 40 miles an hour. The forecast track remains the same in that it will weaken before reaching Cuba, where it can drop as much as 5 inches of rain. Aside from some rain in Florida, the U.S. is not expected to have significant impacts.
Fox's Evan Brown is the first named storm of the Atlantic hurricane season. America is listening to Fox News.
At Simply Safe, we know during a break, every second counts. So our home security system is powered by 24/7 professional monitoring agents who use Fast Protect technology, only from Simply Safe, to capture video evidence and verify a threat for fast police response. Now, install Simply Safe your way. Do it yourself or have an expert set it up for you with new Pro Install. Get 20% off any new system with Fast Protect monitoring at simplysafe.com/radio. There's no safe like Simply Safe.
Millions are switching to Newsmax. After Tucker Carlson's firing, The Eric Bolling Show is up over 200% in the ratings. Tonight, watch Newsmax's powerful lineup of Greta Van Susteren, Rob Schmidt, and Eric Bolling. At 8 p.m. Eastern, Eric Bolling reveals the truth about Joe Biden's mental health. Is he really fit to be president? Watch America's fastest-growing cable news channel and download the free Newsmax app on your smartphone to start watching. Make the switch to Newsmax.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation, weather.
Partly sunny skies with us going through our Friday afternoon. There might be an isolated thunder shower, but pretty tough to find. 91 should do it. Tonight, beautiful evening in the 80s. Clear skies, 65 for the low. Saturday, sunny, 95 degrees. So it's a hot day, but the humidity levels are okay. Very close to the record of 96. Sunday, pretty, partly sunny, comfortable humidity, and 92. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
You want to retire soon, but everyone keeps telling you to wait until you're 65. After all, that's the age that you qualify for Medicare and you're close to full retirement age. I'm Marvin Mitchell, president of Compass Retirement Solutions. In my new book, Retire Early, The 9 Critical Decisions When Retiring Before 65, I discuss proper planning to help make early retirement possible. When to take Social Security, what to do with your 401k, healthcare, how to maximize retirement income, and much more. Get a complimentary copy of Retire Early by calling 1-800-743-8510. That's 1-800-743-8510. Can you retire early? Call 1-800-743-8510 for your copy of Retire Early, The 9 Critical Decisions When Retiring Before 65.
Investments and services offered through Compass Retirement Group, a registered investment advisory in Missouri and Illinois. Compass Retirement Solutions is not affiliated with the U.S. government or any governmental agency.
Hi, this is Steve Butts with the Crawford Butts Insurance Agency. I know we're all experiencing sticker shock when you get your insurance premium. Now more than ever, you need an independent insurance agent to find the best value for your family's insurance needs. Crawford Butts, family owned and operated for more than 60 years. Please give us a call at 314-752-2500 or at crawfordbutts.com.
There are over 10,000 reasons why steel is not sold at Lowe's or the Home Depot. Find tools for the job site or your own backyard at over 10,000 authorized local steel dealers. Find yours at steelusa.com. Lowe's and the Home Depot are trademarks of their respective companies.
St. Louis's home for conservative talk.
Awesome. That's what I'm talking about.
97.1 FM Talk.
I look forward to hearing the station all day.
Everyone is welcome. This hour of the Annie Frey Show is brought to you by Ruler Foods. Low prices, no coupons. Ruler Foods.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
They got someone here knows what they're talking about.
Laptop
That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
Like, you need to take some time to get the full picture. Come on, turn the radio on. It's Saturday and I won't be long.
Don't get me wrong. I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not a man, sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kids, keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Frey Show.
Yeah, it is. Ryan Wiggins making a guest appearance in that remake of the intro. Ryan is off today, and so X's and O's is taking a hiatus until next week. But our friend Hayes from Y98, on-air personality over there, who is you're pretty good at X's and O's, aren't you?
I was pretty good until I jinxed myself, I think, last time. Man. So I need to step up a win next time I come in there.
So you've been with us many times. Your Y98 is literally on the other side of the wall that I'm facing right now. So we see Hayes all the time here in the afternoon. We asked him a question and asked him anything before. And Hayes, I have to ask you this question. If you had a walk-up song, what's your walk-up song?
Oh man, I've mentioned this before at Cardinals games, and I'm a rocker.
Yeah,
it'd be Corn. It'd be
Corn,
Corn,
man,
are you ready? And then the whole crowd goes crazy, or at least I will.
What happens if you're driving to the grocery store and that's what comes on in your radio? What happens? And then what happens in the car?
It's in the gym. Like, I'm old school, I'm old school, like rock like that, or metal, or whatever they want to call it, like Limp Bizkit. And I listen to, I swear.
Same and Taylor Swift for me.
Limp Bizkit. I've never even heard of that.
What? Oh my gosh.
Did you see James Vanderbeek this week? Did you see the clip of him? He's doing some TikTok or something. He's like talking about the Democrats need to debate. Joe Biden needs to debate. And so we did this story here naturally. Yeah. James Vanderbeek, Dawson's Creek. Never heard of it. Wow. Hannah never heard of it. Maybe heard of Varsity Blues. Don't Google it.
You've heard the songs though.
Don't Google it.
Wow.
Spelled with a Z.
Limp
and a
Bizkit.
K, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
Limp Bizkit.
Here we go. Don't just
no, I'm not. I'm not. I'm just reading their songs.
Yeah, you've heard of them. It's Down with the Sickness.
Oh man,
that's
I think Ryan Wiggins talked about that song before.
I don't want to know about that. I don't want to know anything that has to do with Ryan Wiggins and Nookie.
But yes, Corn, Blind. That would be it. Yes. Corn. Have you heard of Corn?
With a K.
And have you heard?
I think I've heard of
Corn. You heard of Corn? Yeah.
You think so?
I eat it all the time.
And I'm the guy on the top 40 station. Everyone's like, I'm always in like Corn or Ted Kennedy's or some sort of rock shirt. And, I'm David Bowie today, so that's pretty poppy.
Hayes, you and I and Brad and Ryan, we're all about the same age.
Yeah.
Are we middle aged?
I'll be 44 in August.
You're a little older than me, but not much. I'm not quite 40 yet, and I have 10 months left. We're middle aged? Are we middle aged?
Are we already?
I don't know. Should we talk about it? Hannah, what do you think?
My mic's not.
Yeah, the FM signal is starting to break up a little bit here. So we've had Hayes come in. We've talked about issues with him. Of course, we played X's and O's, and we are all in similar places in life. I have 4 kids. You've got a son.
I have a son. Yep.
Your son is he 13?
He is.
My son is 13.
Yeah.
We have very similar situations at home in that regard.
Mm-hmm.
And the politics stuff that we talk about over here that you probably do everything in your power not to talk about over at 198, it still matters.
Yeah,
this stuff matters to everybody.
Mm-hmm.
And it's good to have the unplug, just get in your car and the song that you've been dying to hear comes on, you turn it up, you jam. But this stuff does affect people. And as I said before in the show, we are 522 days away from the election.
It's going to be here before you know it.
Yeah, that's like soon in our terms. But there's a lot of stuff coming out these days about candidates, people who want to be the Republican nominee and people who want to be the Democrat nominee. So we're going to do with Hayes here from Y98 is we're going to play some things from the campaign trail and get Hayes' honest reaction to it. Now, you don't know what we're going to play, and I want to know if you've heard some of this stuff before, or if this is brand new information, or if you know nothing about it. I would say, Brad, we see Hayes as the normal one.
Right.
Like Hayes's life experience when it comes to politics is much more adherent to the normal voting American, maybe non-voting American than our inundate. I mean, I'm sure you know a lot more about pop culture than most people do.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, it's pretty much imperative to
So
on that format. Yeah.
So before we play some of these clips, you set the table for people listening right now on this station here on 97.1 FM Talk. How do you see yourself and how it fits into the political sphere? How does the political sphere fit into your life?
Okay.
What do you think?
How does it fit into my life?
Yeah, like where do you?
It's important now, especially with what's going on, and with having a 13-year-old, and him growing up and being an adult here soon. It's just.
Do you think it's harder to raise kids in 2023 than it was in 1993?
Oh man. Well, I have to ask my parents about that one, but back in 1993, man, I was doing all sorts of ridiculous things.
And nobody knew because you couldn't post it.
That's why I got away with more then. Now it's just, but at the same time, they're subjected to so much insanity out there, with social media and what's being broadcasted on TV and everywhere,
Yeah.
It's just, I think it probably is more tough now because you got to explain things more. Back then, it was just kind of like, does it make sense?
One of the biggest things for me as a mom is how easy information is to access. And if somebody else wants to tell your kid something or impart something on your kid, the amount of fronts that I am defending at any given time compared to the 6, which is really like 5.5 channels that you had on your dial on your television when we were growing up. No internet, books. Books, your Encyclopedia Britannica. What our interest in information was really replaced when we were growing up, because there's no internet, with wonderment. We wondered about a lot of stuff.
Yeah,
and then our parents made crap up.
Oh yeah.
And we were like, that's okay.
Sure.
We'll buy it. Let's go play.
Exactly.
Now you Google it immediately and you can have a dozen different opinions with evidence that suggests that opinion is the correct one.
Yeah. Or anything, like it is Pride Month and explaining things like that. And my son asked about different things and this and that going on with that. Explaining that blows my mind too.
Sure.
Trying to explain it in a proper way, that is.
Yeah. In a way that respects people and respects who you are and where you come from and all of that stuff. And it's different for every single, which is what you call diversity.
And that way he has respect. So he's a good human.
Yep. Completely agree. So I'm going to play for you some clips so people understand where you're coming from. You are not like a news politics nerd.
No, I said I wasn't going to mention it, but I did. I voted for the first time this last election, because in my household, I grew up in the middle of Kansas. It was always just Republican. That's it. It wasn't just, politics weren't a thing in my family. I'm only child, and then my dad brought it up because my dad served before the election. I'm like, and I got more into it. I just didn't have much knowledge.
Would you say
that was what it was? I didn't know much about and still don't know many things. So I didn't want to go out there and vote just for someone because they were popular or this and that.
Or because
I was
that's
persuaded to vote that way.
Where you came from and that's just what people did.
Yeah.
You have to make it your own. And there are so many people, I think, that are so much like you that haven't had it. It hasn't touched them personally yet to where they're, you know what, I think I have a stake in this.
Yeah.
And I've decided that, not because mom and dad always voted this way. We talked yesterday about if you grew up in a Union Democrat home, you know what that means. That really means something. And now I've talked to many people who work from Granite City Steel and other union places, and they're Trump people, but they also still have a allegiance to the Union Democrats. They quietly vote for Donald Trump. It's just become more complicated because it's become so much more personal.
Yeah, and everyone's just so divided. You can't tell anyone, just because who you vote for, what party you support now. It's just so divided.
Yeah.
Like we're talking about the internet and stuff. Like back then, it was just kind of people went this way or that way.
Yep.
Now, so many options.
So let's play some clips from the campaign trail, and we're just going to get your honest reaction to this, and you can tell us, oh, I've heard this, or I've never heard this before. I don't even know who this person is. I'm pretty sure you know who Donald Trump is.
Yes, for sure.
So let's listen to his
That's
first
great.
clip.
Congratulations. Very big on school choice. Can you imagine we even have to talk about parental control and basically having parents get involved? We have school systems that don't even want to talk to the parents about their children. And you talk about changing gender and things where the child can make a choice and the child can be unbelievably young. The country has gone sick. It's gone sick. And I don't like the term woke because I hear woke. It's like it's a term that half the people can't even define it. They don't know what it is.
So this is from last night, Donald Trump on Fox News. I think he had like a town hall. I think that one of the key things that I pull away from there is how Donald Trump is talking about parent choice.
Yeah.
And you're a parent.
Right.
Now, you might decide something that you want your kid to know about, learn about, support, show up for that I don't, or vice versa. Do you think anything he's saying there resonates with you, where parents should be going a little bit like, hey, no. This is my job. I'll handle this.
Yeah, it is our job. But at the same time, you can't talk about church or religion in school at all. You can talk about these other things. That's kind of concerning to me.
Yeah.
You can't talk about that, which I understand. But if you're going to do that, then why are you going to let everyone educate our children about? But look, it's in everyone's face. It's at Target. It is with Bud Light. It is everywhere with what he was specifically talking about, right?
Yeah.
With transgender and stuff.
Yeah.
I think my son needs to be, or kids need to be educated about it. But
Yeah, they need to know what's going on.
parents' job should be able to do that. I don't want,
Educated by whom?
Miss Robinson. Not if there's a Miss Robinson
Miss
listening.
Robinson's everywhere going, hey.
Yeah, but not that, you know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Why is it her job to tell my son about what is?
Should it be her job?
Exactly.
Yeah, responsibility. What do you think about it?
I am a big proponent of those of you out there know I'm a youth minister, but one of the things the way I view my job, and whenever I was a teacher, I viewed my job very similarly in philosophy, was it is my job to assist the parents in helping a mature adult. And I don't feel like that's what teachers' goals are anymore. I think teachers feel like and I'm not going to say all teachers, because there are other teachers out there that are still, this is not a blanket statement about all teachers, but there is a large group of teachers that feel like it's their job to mold the child in the way that they
In spite of the parents.
in spite of the parents. If the parents don't want their kid to go that way, then they see that as child abuse, and therefore they should fix this for the parents and in spite of the parents. And that, it gives me a pit in my stomach, because that's not your kid.
It's actual policy in schools. I know specifically in the state of Illinois that if a child says that they want to name a different identity within the school, that the teachers are not permitted to communicate to the parents that request has been made.
What?
They are to keep it a secret, and the parents cannot find that information out from the teachers.
What? That is insane to me. Remember when when I was junior high, sex ed, we had to sign off and have our parents say, you can participate in this.
Yeah.
And I asked Coop's mom, I was like, hey, did you have this? No, he's already had that. I'm like, what? I didn't know. They just went ahead and just
They
taught
just
him.
did it.
Yeah. And I'm like, she's usually the one in control of that, because he's with her majority of the time, but I was just like, wow, they just went ahead. You didn't have to sign off on anything, a paper, or
It's just part of the deal.
It's just part of it.
Here is Ron DeSantis, who is newly into the race as of last week, and he's talking about Donald Trump. Donald Trump keeps saying the deep state. Of course, you might have heard of that. That Donald Trump is saying, I'm going to take care of the deep state in 6 months. Should I be elected?
The former president today pushing back, saying he's only going to need 6 months to do it. I'd like to get your response.
Well, what I said specifically was to slay the deep state, this big, unaccountable bureaucracy that's been weaponized, that we've been complaining about as Republicans for decades. To be able to slay that, that is going to require discipline, it's going to require focus, and it's going to require an ability to be long enough so that the bureaucrats just can't outwaste you. So, if the former president says he can slay the deep state in 6 months, my question to him would be, well, you already had 4 years. Why didn't you slay it then?
Saucy.
Sassy.
What do you think about that? Ron DeSantis, Donald Trump, they seem to be obviously the leading two candidates on the Republican side.
Sure.
You like fresh blood in there, mixing it up?
I do. I'm a fan. He speaks well so far. Anyway. What I've always liked about Trump is he just went out and just did it. You know? He got the job done most of the time. So, I don't know.
Listen to this from Ron DeSantis.
Leadership is also not entertainment. It's not about building a brand. It's not about virtue signaling. It is about producing results for the people that you represent. And in Florida, we have produced those results. We are the nation's fastest growing state. We lead the nation in net in-migration and have every year since I've been governor. We were just ranked #1 in education by U.S. News and World Report. We are #1 in education freedom. We are #1 in parental involvement in education. Our crime rate is at a 50-year low, and we have the second lowest tax and debt per capita anywhere in the United States.
So Ron DeSantis says leadership is not entertainment. It is about producing results. And then he goes on his governor of Florida record of saying things that he did. I think that the difference that they're drawing here is Donald Trump is the fighter. As I called him yesterday, he's the Kool-Aid man of politics.
So what they're saying is like he's not a politician and he's just a reality star is essentially what he was saying, right?
And DeSantis is saying, listen, I know how to do the job and I'm here to do the job.
And I have the results to back it up.
Which do we need one or the other? What are you looking for in somebody?
Results. Yes.
However you get there.
Yeah. Results. None of this just talking, beating around the bush.
Is it possible they both can get results? They just get them in different ways?
It is possible. Yeah. Man, that's a good question.
Do you have time to stick with us one more segment?
I do. That's a great question when you think about it. And see, this is why I'm paying attention to both candidates.
Yeah.
All candidates.
I've got I've got some clips here from some other people you may never have heard of.
Okay.
I mean, if you're not a nerd like us, and you listeners out there, you're nerds too, and we love every one of you. Let's get to some of the other candidates in the race when we come back and see what Hayes from Y98 has to say reacting to those folks. Stick around, more Annie Frey Show when we come back.
You're listening to The Annie Frey Show. Find the podcast, on-demand audio, and more at 971talk.com/Annie.
ClosetFactory.com, the fairy godmothers of making your house the home that you didn't know it could be. I am coining them that. I didn't run it by them, but that's what they were to me. They came into my house. I got 4 kids. I got stuff everywhere. I got people everywhere. And I need places for the things that they bring into the house. Now, that's what they've been able to come into my home and do. I don't know if that's what your situation is, but I do know of people who have grandkids now in their lives, which means that you have all the things that come along with being able to entertain the grandkids when they come over. When you think about that space, that storage that you need so that it exists, it's there at the ready so that the grandkids come over and they know they're at grandma's and grandpa's house. Nothing better than that. But when they're not there, you don't really want all the toys and stuff all over the place. Think about the beautiful built-ins that you can put into your home, your entertainment center, beautiful built-in shelves, increase the value of your home, but also have a place for everything so everything can be in its place. The Closet Factory comes into your home and addresses your unique storage solution needs and provides you something beautiful that is going to make you feel like you have those fairy godmothers there ready to serve you. 314-961-4300, 314-961-4300, online right now at closetfactory.com.
Cardinals baseball is in full swing.
Right center field, a grand slam for Nolan Gorman.
With the free Odyssey app, local fans can listen live all summer long, whether you're at the grill or at the pool.
And it's a goner! An opposite field home run for Wilson Contreras.
Cardinals baseball. Cardinals announcers. Streaming live on the free Odyssey app. AUDACY. Get in the game and download it today.
Attention taxpayers. If you or your business owe the IRS back taxes or have years of unfiled tax returns, the IRS has green-lighted billions of dollars in tax relief to those facing financial hardship through its tax relief initiatives. If you have a delinquent tax problem and possibly facing wage garnishment, liens, levies, audits, or already in a payment plan, you may now qualify for significant relief. Qualifying and enrolling in this program could stop
all collections, settle your tax problem, and may even reduce what you owe by up to 99%. Call the hotline at Tax Help USA to see if you qualify and receive your free tax assessment by dialing 800-341-3137. If you or your business owe back taxes to the IRS or state, you can now get the help that you need during these hard economic times. Get your free tax assessment to see what you qualify for by dialing 800-341-3137. 800-341-3137. That's 800-341-3137.
Learn to make money 5 ways with rental real estate. Double your money with apartments. And get your map to financial freedom. And that map starts with a free workshop. Sign up now at lifestylesunlimited.com. Click on the Join Free Workshop tab and attend online or in person. That's lifestylesunlimited.com. Lifestylesunlimited.com. Again, that's lifestylesunlimited.com. Limited seating, unlimited potential.
Hi, this is Thomas Helbig with the Retirement Advisory Group.
Hi, I'm Bob Kershaw, Tom's nephew. As a family business, we are committed to protecting your retirement, whether you're nearing retirement or already retired. What if it were possible to protect you from market downturns without having to make an emotional decision to buy or sell? What if you could take advantage of a strategy that would automatically take you out of harm's way during the bad years and position you for the growth opportunity during the good years?
The secret is in linking safely to the market without putting your principal at risk. By linking to the market instead of owning the market, you can participate safely on autopilot and lock in your gains without creating a taxable event. Go online at retirementkey.com for a no-obligation retirement review. Learn the strategies that have helped our clients retire with confidence for the past 36 years. And just for coming in, you'll get a copy of our latest edition book, Your Key to a Worry-Free Retirement. So go online at retirementkey.com. That's retirementkey.com.
You're listening to the Annie Frey Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation Studio. Warmer days are coming. Time to schedule your annual AC system check for as little as $15 a month. For any residential or commercial HVAC services, visit aircomfortservice.com.
There's a music station that fits your taste at Odyssey.com. Download the app for instant access to hundreds of music stations and listen live to 97.1 FM Talk. The Odyssey app. Download it or stream from 971talk.com.
Take this pink ribbon off my eyes. I'm exposed. It's no big surprise. Don't you think
You're listening to the Annie Frey Show. Follow Annie on Twitter at Annie Frey Show.
Welcome back. It's funny that you play this song and Rubber Band Man because this is also a walk-up song for a girl who plays on our team. And
She is a stud.
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
She is. We have on my son's 13U baseball team, we have a girl who subs with us. She played with us. Last year was the first season she didn't play with us, but she plays on some national soccer team.
Yeah.
She's an incredible athlete, but she still subs for us. And she comes up and she just gets hits. And
it was
awesome.
crazy. I was watching her. She was walking up and you had told me about how she had gotten that game-winning hit.
Yeah.
And how long ago was that? That was like
last year.
That was last year sometime.
We won the league tournament at the end of the season last year because she scored like 3 runs in the bottom of the whatever last inning.
Mm-hmm.
She got a base hit. They all scooted in. When she came up, she hit it over their heads.
It was crazy because she's walking up the bat. She's like, "When was the last time I swung a bat?" "Oh yeah, at that game last year." And she goes up, first pitch, swing, double.
And she has, like soccer player, total athlete. She has platinum blonde hair and a braid that goes all the way down her back. So there's nothing about her that, like, you're like, oh, is that a girl? Are we playing a girl? Yeah, that's a girl. She's good.
She might be the first female in the MLB.
Yeah. And then everybody who always is like, why are you always talking about trans women in sports, Annie? And I'll be like, oh, that's right. It all goes back to her, and who knew it'd be on my son's baseball team. So we got Hayes from Y98 in the studio with us, and as somebody who is saturated in pop culture, and I know very little about, we're having Hayes come over here because he's got at least one ear to the political scene. He's a dad. He is a incredibly hardworking person. and you're invested. You care?
100%.
It matters.
It matters for sure. More than it did when I was a teenager in my 20s.
Yeah. Well,
that's for sure.
So we have been playing him some clips from the campaign trail so far. We've played Donald Trump and Ron DeSantis. Were you familiar with both of those individuals?
Of course.
Of course. Joe Biden, of course, is running for re-election, and
poor guy in Gravity. They don't get along, do they?
Does it matter? Does it matter to you that he is falling?
I'm concerned. I think the sandbag wasn't, but he's falling. I just feel bad for the guy, actually. But to run another
sandbag or not, just
like the poor guy. Like I feel bad for him.
So here is a clip from Joe Biden. Do you remember when Donald Trump was president? He was at West Point, and he went very slowly down a ramp.
Okay.
Do you remember this? This does not permeate the non-nerd wall.
Okay.
Big stuff in the nerddom.
Nerddom.
Donald Trump was speaking at West Point.
Yeah, it was. I think it was the same event.
Kind of thing. And there was a ramp that he had to walk down afterwards. Okay. I think it might have been wet. I don't know if I remember. He's in like fancy shoes.
Yeah.
Slick on the bottom. He was holding onto the side, and I think he had a military member next to him that he might have grabbed his arm. And there was great concern about the president's ability to walk. So much concern. Wow. Here's a montage of coverage.
A case of chivalry or a phobia? A theory about why President Trump grabbed the British Prime Minister's hand, now getting the thumbs down.
Ever since first hearing about the phobia rumor, I've become slightly obsessed with watching President Trump watch his step. Really watching his step coming down the stairs of the Capitol, even while climbing just a couple of steps at the White House. Coming off his plane, eyes on his feet, clutching the railing. When asked if the president has fear of stairs, a White House spokesperson said, no offense, but this is an absurd question.
Stairophobia. I had never heard of it, but you can make a case for it.
Yeah, I bet you it's not even called that. All the phobias have those weird names, but I think it's the least of his concerns.
Really?
Oh, they were reaching there, weren't they? Oh, my goodness. My gosh. That never even crossed my mind.
This was life when President Trump was President Trump. He couldn't do anything. So much so that let's go to what Joe.
No one would feel bad for him when he falls, like I just said about Biden.
Well,
think about that.
Well, how did Joe Biden feel about it?
Look at how he steps and look how I step. Watch how I run up ramps and he stumbles down ramps. Okay, come on.
Oh wow.
I've never heard that.
Foot and mouth
wow.
there.
Wow.
That's crazy. That is great audio.
I've never heard it either. Age well for him.
No.
This is from today.
New York Times. Trump's halting walk down ramp raises new health questions. Totally ridiculous. Biden is doing 100% fine after tripping while boarding Air Force One. Quite a difference. Hop on over to Washington Post. Trump tries to explain his slow and unsteady walk down a ramp at West Point. Next time, Biden stumbles climbing stairs to Air Force One. And then CNN, why the Donald Trump West Point ramp story actually matters. It didn't matter. But then you've got this. Biden is fine after falling off his bike in Delaware. White House says it's just breathtaking, the differences.
Okay, there was a lady today. This is so coincidental that I was at 7-Eleven. And went in to get my Gatorade that I have right now, my Gatorade Light. Shout out to Gatorade.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Open for sponsorships.
Yes, exactly.
On this segment, we'll name it after you sponsor it.
Nice. So anyway, the lady, his assistant, it was a gentleman and a lady. Might have been granddaughter, daughter maybe. I don't know. Maybe husband nowadays. Yeah. Who knows? But she was like,
who are we to judge?
Watch your step. There's a little step. And it was a small little step. And I automatically thought about it. Like, he needs to have his Secret Service help him out a little bit more if he just stumbling because
Easter Bunny,
because he's
old and frail.
Yes, and frail.
And not with it.
Yeah, like it just reminds me of like my grandfather, when he was declining.
You're hitting it on the head because everybody knows what this looks like. You personally know, and that is a very raw thing to personally experience. The decline of somebody who is somebody that you love, who just doesn't have it the way they used to. Now, when that happens to your loved one, you care more for them. You support them more. You protect them more.
Right.
What the hell is Jill Biden doing?
I don't know. It's crazy. Sometimes I'm like, is he a puppet? And then like someone is helping him talk, you know, like a puppet hand and the puppet in the back. Because how's it even making sense at times?
Did you know that he has a challenger, but Joe Biden has a challenger in this race? This is RFK Jr. Are you familiar with RFK Jr.?
Vaguely.
So I'm going to say, first and foremost, he has an impairment in his voice. What caused that?
I don't know.
He's healthy, but his voice sounds it's rougher to listen to. So when you hear this, it's going to sound a little bit off, but this is just the way he speaks. He's Robert F. Kennedy Jr.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And
obviously.
he has, he has made a name for himself being very oppositional to the shot and the imposition, the mandates and stuff that came out. But this is what he said about the framers, the Constitution, the pandemic's play in that. He's challenging Joe
Framers
Biden.
of the Constitution did not put a pandemic exception in the Constitution. The Constitution was written, they wrote it for hard times. They wrote it no matter what. You know, you can't suspend the Constitution for any reason. Doesn't matter if the country's falling apart. You can't do it. Doesn't matter if people are dying. You can't do it. The rights are, you know, there was a generation in 1776 who put their lives, their fortunes, their reputations on the line, and their livelihoods, their property, in order to give us those Bill of Rights. Once a government takes a power, it will never give it back voluntarily. That is a rule of political science. And the other rule is that every power they take will ultimately be abused to the maximum extent possible.
So RFK Jr. talking, you know, the pandemic is the key point of this, but it's a specific detail in a larger situation that Americans have to ask themselves. When we think back to March of 2020, April, May, June of 2020, we were living a different life than an American existence that we have certainly ever known at our age. What do you think about when you hear RFK Jr., who is a Democrat challenging Joe Biden for the Democrat nomination, talk about those freedoms in the Constitution, where the Constitution was written for the hard times?
Excuse me. It's kind of surprising, actually, to hear that. That's coming from a Democrat, and it's kind of gratifying at the same time. You know, it's keeping it real. If that makes sense.
Yeah, and the important thing to remember with RFK Jr. is he's kind of an old school Democrat,
right?
A Kennedy,
and
I mean, he's a
JFK
Kennedy.
was one of the best.
Yeah.
You know, even my dad's like JFK, one of the best.
Yeah.
You know, so that's nice for that party too.
Do you think it's good for the Democrats to have somebody else to look to other than Joe Biden, just for the consideration of it?
I just feel, 100%, but I don't feel like they will back that up. You know what I'm saying? Does that make sense? Like to back up what he's saying as a Democrat.
Let's listen to this is Marianne Williamson. You familiar with her?
Yes.
So she is the other challenger. It's just them, right? RFK Jr. and Marianne Williamson. This is what she has said.
I believe that in a democracy, people should have as wide an array of options before them as there are candidates running on agendas. That's what a democracy is. We need to protect our democracy right now. That's obvious to everyone. The way you protect your democracy is by using your democracy. Candidate suppression is a form of voter suppression. So this idea that I'm a spoiler, no, I'm not a spoiler. I'm a candidate in a primary, and it's very important, I believe, that the president debate me, that the president debate any other people who are challenging him. At a time like this, when the fascists are clearly at the door, we should be having a very serious conversation about what it will take to defeat them, and not just accepting what the DNC has to say because a few elites have decided it's going to be Joe Biden.
When Marianne Williamson says that the fascists are at the door, I'm like, I need you to be more specific. Throw that F word around a lot these days. What's your reaction to Marianne Williamson?
I don't know. That's the first time I've honestly really even paid attention to her.
Sure.
To be honest with you.
Yeah.
That's it.
She's not, I mean, but does she have 8% or something like that?
Yeah, single digits for sure.
I think that RFK, I heard today that after Biden fell yesterday, RFK Jr. went from 16% polling to 20% polling.
Really?
Wow.
Wow.
He doesn't have over, I think he has less than 3/4 of the base.
Yeah.
Supporting him.
This is going to be an interesting election.
Well,
it's going to be. I mean, they all are, but my goodness.
Send beer.
But here's the thing, though. What she was talking about there, the Democrats are actually trying to do. They're trying to shut out RFK and Marianne Williamson and anybody else from any sort of debate. They said there will be no debate. They're not going to be on the card.
This is just the way it
Joe
is.
Biden is our candidate.
Yeah, that's what I'm feeling like. They're not even trying to give them a chance.
My theory on that, Hayes, is that the DNC knows that Biden is going to drop out at an approved time.
Yeah.
And they're going to let him do it on his own.
Right.
And the deal is we'll support you until that point so that you can back out on your timing, and then craziness commences. I don't think Joe Biden's going to be the nominee. I think he's going to step out.
Wow. That's what I'm saying. It's going to be interesting. And then who else will step up? Or will it be...
I don't know. It's pre-approved, whatever it is. I promise you.
Right.
Last clip for you here. Have you heard of Vivek Ramaswamy?
No.
If you if you would have heard of him, you would know that when I say his name.
Yeah.
Vivek is running for the Republican nomination. And I didn't think if you hadn't heard of more of the deep into the race candidates, Vivek might not be somebody you had heard of. So we're going to play for you his presidential run announcement video. Listen to Vivek here.
We're in the middle of a national identity crisis. Faith, patriotism, and hard work have disappeared, only to be replaced by new secular religions like COVIDism, climatism, and gender ideology. We hunger to be part of something bigger than ourselves, yet we cannot even answer the question of what it means to be an American. Today, the woke left preys on that vacuum. They tell you that your race, your gender, and your sexual orientation govern who you are, what you can achieve, and what you're allowed to think. This is psychological slavery, and that has created a new culture of fear in our country that has completely replaced our culture of free speech in America. And that is why today I am announcing my run for President of the United States.
Vivek Ramaswamy.
Wow. I'm kind of impressed with that.
Yeah?
Yeah.
First impression?
I was just thinking of the American flag waving, and every point I'm like shaking my head like, yes. Yeah.
He's 37 years old.
There we go.
Is that
what
does young mean something to you?
So listen, I didn't hear you say which party.
Republican.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, yeah, it kind of does. Not 37, younger than me. Oh yeah.
He's younger than I am too. Yeah. Age. When you think about age, you said it kind of matters.
I thought of DeSantis, and I thought he's 1 year older than me.
He's 44.
Is he 44?
Mm-hmm.
So he is my age.
You could be president, Hayes.
Yeah.
What, you skeptical?
I'll rock my corn shirt and have corn in the background. And
Donald Trump became president.
Yeah, it's true.
You could maybe win Portland.
Right? Oh, no.
No? Not it?
No, I'm not an anarchist, but...
Anywho.
Michigan?
So just, I want you to come back and do this with us as we move through this election season. And I want to get some more of our willing friends on some of our other stations to come in, because they're going to be, of course we have people in our office that are all over the place in the political spectrum. But I'm just really curious about stepping outside of the 97.1 bubble. We have some of the coolest, most loyal listeners. They're like family to us. We know them by name. But there are a lot of people who are saying, what's really going on here? What's the deal? And they're just like you, Hayes. So we appreciate you coming on, having this conversation with us.
Oh, I love it.
Will you come back?
Yeah, I'll be back.
All right.
Just ask me.
Just ask you.
I'm right next door.
Literally the next door. Y98 sitting right up there. All right, Hayes, thank you so much. Check him out on Y98. Where do they follow you on Instagram?
Just Hayes on Air. Hayes with a Z. Hayes on Air.
On
That's
air.
And I'm going to go play Taylor Swift songs now.
Thank you. Yeah, promote the Annie Frey Show, that conservative talk radio show that's happening opposite you right now. Don't do that. All right. We appreciate you, Hayes. We'll do it again soon.
Love it.
Let's take a quick break. When we come back, the YouTube live chat poll. What should happen to President Joe Biden? Here are your options. He should resign, 25th Amendment removal, impeachment, or nothing. Pursue a second term. Go vote on the Annie Frey YouTube channel. Let us know what you think. We'll be back in just a minute. Don't go away.
You're listening to The Annie Frey Show. The Annie Frey Show is streaming online. Watch us live on YouTube and subscribe.
STS Armory. Find them online at STS Armory or STS-Armory.com, I should say. I am so grateful for the knowledge that they have so that when I'm purchasing firearms, I know I'm guided. That's basically what I'm trying to say here. I have wants and needs, and I say to them, these are the wants and needs, and then they give me those options. They're going to do the same thing for you as well. But the other thing is, I appreciate the way that they kind of think of the whole package. If you are somebody who has purchased firearms before, you know you don't just like walk in and get a gun and walk out. That's not the way it works, no matter what people tell you. There's a lot that goes along with it, including knowledge, experience, and a sense of responsibility. And people who do exercise their Second Amendment understand that. STS Armory is top-notch at this. I want you to check out their classes that they teach. I want you to consider getting one of those. If you've got kiddos in the house, they have a kids and teens firearms safety and education course. How valuable is that to make sure that everybody understands and respects what it means to be somebody who is exercising their Second Amendment? They help with advanced classes, instructor level classes. They have ladies only classes, and they have conceal and carry and basic pistol classes. If you'd like to sign up, call them at 618-931-GUNS. That's 618-931-GUNS. Online at STS-Armory.com.
Hi, this is Brian with Velocity Home Buyers, and I buy houses cash. If you own a house and want to sell it fast at a fair price, call me at 314-782-3333. I can pay cash and close in as little as 7 days. I buy houses in any condition and any price range in the St. Louis area. I'm a private real estate investor who buys several houses a month, and I want to buy more. I buy inherited houses, divorce houses, behind in payment houses. I even buy my tenant won't pay me the rent houses. Do you own a house that needs updating, but you don't have the time or money for it? Great, because I love buying outdated houses. I buy vacant houses, job relocation houses, and foreclosure houses. If you own a house and want to sell it fast, call me at 314-782-3333. That's 314-782-3333.
This is Tom Ackerman. Thank you, St. Louis, for giving more. When you round up for Ronald McDonald House Charities at McDonald's, you provide services to seriously ill children and their families when they need it most. Round Up, a giving program available at St. Louis area McDonald's restaurants where customers can round up to the nearest dollar and donate their additional change to help keep families close. Is anyone surprised that St. Louis has raised over $2.2 million through Roundup for Ronald McDonald House Charities just last year, and leads the nation? St. Louis leads the nation with over $5 million raised since 2019 when this program began. The generosity from the St. Louis community. Roundup at McDonald's has allowed Ronald McDonald House to renovate 3 family rooms in local children's hospitals since 2021. More than 27,000 visitors use these rooms each year. Visit them online, rmhcstl.com.
More than 80 million Americans depend on AM radio for their news, weather, sports, and a community connection. It's the backbone of the emergency alert system. It's critical that we keep AM radio in cars because when cell and internet services are down, this free emergency service could be your only lifeline. Text AM to 52886 and tell Congress we need AM radio in cars.
Message and data rates may apply. You may receive up to 4 messages a month, and you may text STOP to stop.
This message furnished by the National Association of Broadcasters.
This is Hannah, and in the next segment, I will be giving the final results to our YouTube poll, which asks what should happen to President Joe Biden. Should he resign? Should the 25th Amendment removal happen? Should he be impeached? Should nothing happen to him? And should he pursue his second term? Let us know what you think. You have just a couple minutes left to get your final vote in on our YouTube live chat poll. The time is 2:49. This update is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
The Mark Reardon Show.
Thomas Baker, former FBI agent.
There's no reason it should have gotten to this point. It's a bad, poisonous relationship between the FBI and Congress.
Yeah, that's not a good thing.
Weekdays from 3 to 6.
St. Louis's home for conservative talk.
You're listening to The Annie Frey Show. Interact with Annie on Facebook. The Annie Frey Show.
Welcome back to the Annie Frey Show. We're happy to be with you this Friday afternoon. Beautiful day, hot day. Is it too hot for you guys?
No, I love it.
Not too hot.
Love it.
Love it.
What
is it outside?
70.
93. Whoa.
Sunday, I was at what is affectionately known as the annual day before Memorial Day party with some of our closest best friends. And I was talking to someone, and we were talking about how it was a perfect day. And I mentioned the fact that we've had a conversation on the show before, like, what's the perfect temperature? And I said, my perfect temperature is 86. And I looked, and it said that the temperature outside was 83 degrees, but the real feel was 85 degrees. And I was like, oh, vindicated. It could be just a little warmer. It was beautiful, though. I've talked about my trip to Cleveland, and we went to the Cardinals Guardians game and then went to the Chris Stapleton George Strait concert, and that weather was just beautiful, which was a blessing because when you buy those tickets and you're outside at Ohio Stadium, if it's like the fact that there could be a storm in Ohio on an evening, that's totally possible.
Yeah.
There's expensive tickets to get rained out or to have the show must go on and have it be rainy. It was so gorgeous and beautiful.
Good.
You were in Indianapolis for the Indy 500.
Yeah.
Once you were in and everything, was it what you expected it to be?
Gorgeous weather. Yeah, the environment was awesome. The pomp and circumstance, the flyovers, the songs. There was a concert in what they called the Snake Pit. They had a bunch of DJs.
Ooh.
I can't think of something Aoki. Steve
yeah,
karaoke.
He was doing. He was DJing in turn 3.
That's cool.
Yeah, so it was crazy. And then the race. On top of that, the racing was good. Like the first 100 laps went by pretty quick because it was just kind of follow the leader.
Zoom, zoom, zoom.
Yeah, but after that, pit stops,
Man,
wrecks.
you should be a
got
sideline
really good.
reporter for NASCAR, and you should just do that. Do that again.
Zoom, zoom, zoom.
It would be awesome. So, yeah.
Well,
and
the
then-
experience from down here, it looks like the car's going fast.
Zoom, zoom, zoom.
You have
You can
no
get hired.
idea how accurate that is.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. It's definitely bucket list stuff for Brad. I would not want to do that, but
There's
That
something for
is-
you there, though.
oh, I'm sure.
Yeah,
I
that
won't.
sounds interesting.
Yeah.
And I'm happy for you that you went.
Yeah, pretty cool stuff. So we are going to wrap the show up here in a second, but I want to get to you. Are you ready to do the YouTube live chat
I
poll?
am ready for the
We haven't
YouTube
answered
live
it
chat
ourselves either, but why don't you set it up for us?
So today we are asking what should happen to President Joe Biden. Should he resign? Should the 25th Amendment removal? I have a question about that. I'm confused. What is that?
It's a good question.
I've been like talking about it and I don't even know how to say it correctly.
You're
I
like,
don't-
definitely that one.
Yeah.
I'm pulling up the 25th Amendment here so I can read it.
The other options were impeachment or nothing should happen to Joe Biden. He should pursue his second term.
The 25th Amendment to the United States Constitution, it has to do with presidential succession, vice presidential vacancy, president's declaration of inability. I'll read that from here. Section 3 allows for the voluntary transfer of presidential authority to the vice president by the president declaring in writing to be unable to discharge the powers and duties of the presidency. So, for instance, don't you go under for a colonoscopy?
Yes. There was actually a president that had a procedure that they used the 25th Amendment to transfer power when they were under anesthetic.
Did Donald Trump do that when he had COVID? I don't know that he did.
I don't think he did.
It's actually not incredibly uncommon for this to happen. But the reason I say colonoscopy is because you would be incapacitated for a certain amount of time. And I mean, how crazy is it to think, it's probably not that crazy, if some enemy found out that the president was going through a routine procedure where the president was going to be out for an hour.
Yeah.
You would maybe use that to your advantage if you were looking to do something crazy. And you need to have someone who has the authority to be in charge and make presidential decisions. So what ends up happening is the president ends up signing their authority over to the vice president. The vice president is in charge. And the vice president has to sign it back over to the president, as I understand it. Section 4, declaration by vice president and cabinet members of president's inability.
Oh, wow.
Whenever the vice president and a majority of either the principal officers of the executive departments or of such other body as Congress may by law transmit to the president pro tempore of the Senate and the Speaker of the House of Representatives their written declaration that the president is unable to discharge the powers and duties of his office, the vice president shall immediately assume the powers and duties of the office as acting president.
So this was like, if I think it was Ronald Reagan whenever they attempted to assassinate him, he went under but he was alive, but he was under for surgery. And there was a whole big confusion and hubbub about who the actual president is or who's in charge while the president's incapacitated that way. Another way they could use this is if, somebody was taken hostage and that would compromise the president.
Geez.
And they would declare the president incapable of doing it.
Or the president's mental acuity is so impaired that he can no longer do.
Hence why it was an option.
But it requires the cabinet to come together and make that decision and be voted on by my husband, who teaches the Constitution, is like, oh, it's a baseball.
I voted that Joe Biden should resign. What do you guys think?
Brad?
I think he should run for a second term.
You're like, for the benefit of the country.
Yes.
You stay
Go
right
ahead.
where you
Get
are.
on that stage.
I think he should resign. I think he should. I think that's what he should do. And Jill should, we're running out of time. Let's go on.
Have me hit the dump button. All right. So we have 207 votes currently. What should happen to President Joe Biden? I checked the poll results earlier in the show, and they were 30-20, 30-20.
Wow.
Crazy. But
They're
here,
still incredibly close.
They are incredibly close. 29% of the people said that Joe Biden should be impeached. 27% of the people said that he should resign. 24% of the people said 25th Amendment removal. 21% of the people say nothing. So close.
You want to give us a couple, maybe 2 comments here before we have to break?
Yes. Wavy says that he didn't vote. There's no choice that I like. I think Biden should finish his term and step aside, allowing someone else to run. Why? Because if Biden leaves, we get Harris and probably Jeffries. Not good.
Imagine being Kamala Harris and being like, really, guys?
Yeah.
I can't be that bad.
I mean, that's really what an overwhelming amount of the comments was that people are terrified for Kamala if we don't have Biden. That people are like actually horrified.
3/4 of the people, actually 4/5 of the people, say something needs to happen.
Yeah.
I don't know that it's going to, but I don't think he's the nominee, folks.
I don't think he is.
I think it's known that he's not the nominee. We appreciate you being here with us today. Subscribe to us on the Annie Frey YouTube channel. We're getting so close to 6,000. Stick around. The Mark Reardon Show on 97.1 FM Talk.
Hey, Father's Day is coming up, and let's face it, Dad can be hard to shop for, but you know what dads really like? Steak. Omaha steaks are amazing, and the experts there have made it very easy to put a smile on Dad's face this Father's Day. Head on over to omahasteaks.com. Use the promo code FMTalk at checkout and get $30 off